What is up, you incredible salty nerds? Welcome to the Saturday Salty Show. I am your host, the Salty Nerd. I'm covering, not filling in. I am not a fill-in for Mr. Kadish. I am covering for Mr. Kadish. He is on very important business in Texas, doing some VidCon stuff for the business. And he was like, yo, man, can you host the Saturday show? And I was like, you want me to wake up on Saturday morning and go talk about movies, dude? What? Anyway, Anthony Mark was the first one in the chat. Said, let's welcome Alex back to the Saturday as he fills in. No, covers for Mr. Kadish today. Thank you, Anthony. Appreciate it. Welcome to the show. We got a bunch of people in the chat already. Welcome, guys. Even Salty Nerd Gaming, which is a new channel we should probably talk about, saying good morning to us. Thanks for that, Matt.
Yeah. Sorry, I was on the wrong account. You should highlight the chat after that one. So,
which one is it? You? There we go.
The
Let's try that again. Good morning from Dutch Butters. There we go.
You already screwed this up. You already screwed this up.
Look, this is not going to be the normal thing.
When this show comes on, you're supposed to have your big giant head on the screen all by yourself, going, "Oh, hey everybody, I'm Matt Kadish, and I'm here to do this thing like we do every week." And then let me introduce you to my esteemed panel of expert nerds. And then he makes us feel all awkward. And he does this channel with all of us on there. So
Dutch the Butters is here. Oh, this way. And our man Culture Casino. What's up, dude? How you doing?
I'm great. I'm eating, but
that's good. That's good.
I was told that was okay.
Make mouth noises like you've never made before.
Okay.
The lady
slurp. Yeah, do that a lot because we love mouth noises in the microphone. I think it's hilarious.
The All-Father himself, Odin, has arrived. What's up, brother?
Oh, what's going on, everybody? We're breaking all the rules today.
Oh yeah, buddy.
All right.
So
we're breaking the rules.
Breaking day.
Awesome.
That's awesome. Okay. Yes. Welcome everybody in the chat. I see a bunch of you guys in here. This is amazing. We've already got some gifted subs, which brings up the next thing I need to do according to the giant email I got from Mr. Kadish. Let me see where that is.
There it is. Was it a novella?
It was like 7 paragraphs long of how to wrangle you cats. Listen, sometimes culture gets a little weird. We need to calm him down, so you need to talk about it.
He put profiles on each of us.
Oh yeah, he had a breakdown, personality breakdown for everybody. Odin's habitually late, so just give him a couple minutes, he'll be there.
He knows me well.
We've got our top donators. The number, what's the first name on that? Brian G.
For
a whopping $500.
He's a leader of our super chats for this term, this month, this quarter. I don't know how Kadish breaks it down, but he's at $500. Nice. Scotty Dub is a $400.
Scotty Dub.
William Forbes has been coming back around. He's at 120. I think these are the same numbers as last week. I don't think he updated these.
I was going to ask, are these
updated? But still,
these people are well worth a shout out. Thank you.
Well worth a shout out. Absolutely. So, Mexican Iron Man is our top donator over the long haul, I think, and our top gifters. Of course, I'm just going to do this. All right. Jillian N, Bob Dorsey, Sam Schwager, Major Chai and Eric Wimberger at the top of the list for gifting subs. So,
all right. Speaking of Eric Winberg, he gifted one Salty Nerd podcast membership. Thank you so much, sir. That is 1 out of 10, which leaves us with 9 left to go, folks. 9 left before the end of the stream, and we will be ecstatic. I think about how well that's doing.
We're supposed to do something if we meet our goals, but it's usually something stupid like we're going to take a drink of the Pepsi.
That was the worst.
Pepsi.
And then we did 2 weeks in a row. Yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Oh no.
And then the other one was we'll write a mean tweet, but then we didn't do it live.
Yeah.
So I just put a mean tweet out of mine, and I was like, "Hey, here we go."
Okay. Well, let's come up with something cool. What do we do if we get 10 gifted subs? What are we doing, folks?
Man,
come up with something good. We're gonna tweet at Drunk 3PO. I'm gonna let Odin do that.
Hey, I got 10. Oh, you know what? We need to talk about Drunk really quick.
Yes, go ahead. Because I just watched his video the other day.
I remember this guy who didn't know how to turn a microphone on a few years ago.
Yeah.
Right. Who streamed with me and Salty on this little show called the Sith Kryptonian Happy Hour or some
that's a
shit
throwback,
like that,
dude.
That was forever ago.
And he didn't have a channel back then, and I remember this dude one go, "Hey, I should start my own channel," and and he started a live stream, and he didn't know how to turn YouTube on or make a screen come up, kind of like I am now. And this dude, Drunk 3PO, hit 100,000 subs.
Yep.
This
oh
week.
yeah.
And I am so proud of that guy because he has done this and he's done it with class and grace, and he's stuck to his the way he does things. And I couldn't be more happy or proud to be a friend of this dude. And congratulations to Drunk 3PO for 100,000 subs. That's incredible. It's incredible.
That's
Didn't
awesome.
he used to hold his microphone as well?
Yeah.
Yeah, he had the snowball.
Yeah.
He used to hold his snowball microphone.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
I'm glad he moved past that. I'm glad he moved
Yeah.
past
Well, hey, now he has some production value sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes.
Sometimes. Right on.
But I've always respected Jay because he's always stuck to his morals, and he's always stuck to his.
He's a good guy too.
The way he's always been himself, and I just very much appreciate him.
I keep up with him via Instagram, and he's always hobnobbing it with these like ultra Hollywood stars, rubbing elbows with these people at these conventions with Gina Carano. I'm like, this guy, he just
like, who the hell does this guy think he is?
And then you meet him, and you're like, I would never mess with this guy ever.
Oh yeah, no, he's like 7 feet tall.
He's
Yeah, 6'8".
Yeah.
It's like I'm a big dude, right? I'm a big fat guy, right? But I'm fairly tall compared to most people. And the first time I met Jay, and he was like 3 inches taller than me, and I'm not used to looking up at people, and it kind of freaked me out. So
he's
like,
he's a teddy bear, man. I love the guy.
Is.
I mean, he's a good friend. He's one of those people you'd be like, dude, I need this, and he'd be like, oh, okay.
Yep.
I mean, he wouldn't even think about it. Okay.
Let me break down what today's show is going to be all about, guys. The first topic we're going to be talking about is some Space Marines 2. There's some anger out there on the internet that Space Marines is not diverse enough, which will be
no, you're adding that into this. That wasn't in the show notes.
That was not in the original show notes. I'm adding that because it just happened this morning, and I'm like, it needs to be in the show. Yeah.
Okay.
Next thing up,
going off script, bro.
George R.R. Martin, real mad at House of the Dragons for that one scene. Real mad. Then we got some Acolyte. Actually, this is real because this affects people in our sphere. The Acolyte cancellation backlash with Nerdrotic, Geeks and Gamers. I read through that. I haven't been keeping up with it because I don't spend a lot of time on social media. I just kind of caught up this morning, and I was like, this is wild that people are that upset with these poor folks because the show is garbage. Then, of course, the paying off of the thumbnail, we're going to be talking about the Minecraft teaser trailer that came out today. I will have a lot to say about that, and I hope you guys do too. Those of us that have children, I've been playing Minecraft since way too long. And to see this, I was actually looking forward to this movie, and to see this trailer was that was a gut punch.
I didn't know you could like gay up Jason Momoa. I just
remember when in what was that movie that he just did with the Fast and the Furious, where he was the bad guy in the Fast and the Furious, and he was like overly femme for no reason.
Yeah,
it was a weird call. I think that's why Vin Diesel was like, "Hey man, you're making my movie gay. You got to get out of here." Making my movie too gay. Before we get into the topics, though, does anybody have anything you guys want to bring up off the cuff? Odin, what's up, man? What's going on with your life?
Oh, no, not much. Just living the dream. Still working at school. Crazy that we're already, for us, a full month in, because down in the South we start beginning of August, and I know a lot of schools didn't start up until just this past week after Labor Day. So it's been really cool so far. We just started doing some moral situations. If everyone's ever heard of the trolley problem before, we just started that in class, and it's always a fun discussion.
Is it like, who do you save, the group of people, or the one person
do you let the train kill the five, or do you step in and kill the one? And some of these answers are pretty interesting.
That's awesome. I love messing with children's minds like that. Culture, how about you, brother? What do you got going on that you want to shout out?
Well, I mean, just the silly stuff that I do about the games now, because now that I'm really, starting building up the that game place, I think that's a lot of fun. I miss being able to do as much with games. So that's why I'm really impressing it what you guys are doing right now.
I'm glad you're doing that the park place. That how would that games place? that games place, and it's affiliated with that park place. And I've got a couple of your streams, but it's really hard because of your times that you guys do it. But
right.
But it's awesome that you guys are over there doing the thing. In between you guys talking about all the controversial stuff and the side scrollers podcast guys doing the similar kind of vibe. It leaves me and Alex to just be able to talk about fun stuff that we like, and we don't have to worry about being annoyed all the time with the industry. So yeah, it's good. I love it. I love what you guys are doing over there.
We've got a new member who just popped up that I feel like is probably an old member that might have renewed real old movies.
Yep.
Very active member of our Discord and a big supporter of the channel. Thank you and welcome to being a member. That's awesome. Thank you so much. Speaking of being pissed off with the gaming community, so the first topic I'm going to bring up today, let me see where my button is.
See, he doesn't. He's just like Catus. There we go. What I'm doing. He just ignores me.
You and I are doing the same thing. What are you doing? we're talking about Space Marines 2 on our gaming channel.
I know.
Matt.
In fact, I'm going to play it. I'm going to play it this week. So.
Yeah, I know. It's coming out on the official release is the 9th, but people have been playing it for a couple of days based off of the pre-release that they paid an exuberant amount of money for. Funny story. I tried to get Dutch. I was like, hey man, we made, a good grip of money on the gaming channel. He's making fun of me because I use the word grip too much. We made a grip of money on the gaming channel with like ad revenue and stuff. Some of our videos did really well. And I'm like, look, man, I want to buy you Space Marines before it comes out. It's like $80 as opposed to 60, and you get to play it 4 days before. And he flat out refused. He was like, no, I am not beta testing this game. He's like, I'm going to play it the day it actually comes out. Yeah. I thought that was quite funny. Can you, what's the reasoning behind that, man?
I don't like early access games because I feel like it gives other people just a little bit of a one up on everybody else. But the main reason I didn't want to spend the extra $40 is I didn't have the time to spend in the game before release. It came out. I think they started playing Wednesday or Thursday, and those are my work days. So I do most of our streaming on Mondays and Tuesdays and really late at night. And I've just been super tired here lately. And I knew I wasn't going to be able to get $40 worth of extra content out of it. And I just think it was a waste of money. I don't care about the little extra things I can get to put on my armor or whatever that you get with the bonus materials. I don't collect steel books. I don't do any of that stuff. So it's a waste of money as far as I'm concerned. And yes, I do believe those people are still being beta testers. They're still finding things that are wrong with the game. And I don't like to be able to pay for the pleasure of being a beta tester for any game company unless I know that going in,
Right.
So, and we talked about a little bit about that on yesterday's podcast, and we're going to talk about it more again in the future about paying to be a beta tester. It annoys the shit out of me, and I don't like it.
It's like, look at this unfinished game. If you give us $30, we'll let you play it.
Yeah. It's like, here, give me. It's like the Indiegogo stuff we talked about. It's like, here, give me $100 for this comic book that I want to put out in 2 years from now. It's like, well, draw the comic book and then maybe we'll talk. Okay. So it's just
culture. You look like you want to chime in.
Well, no, I'm tired of being the beta tester.
Yeah.
I mean, it's infuriating. I get angry. I'm actually waiting now to wait months. I'll wait months before a game is ready to go. I that's it. I mean, that's my response now.
Because there's another game. We should probably get to the topic before we get off the weeds here. But okay, so Space Marines 2 is getting some backlash in its pre-order phase. It's not even officially out yet, and the Alphabet community is attacking it. This guy, Andy Mayon on X, says, weirdos are attacking Warhammer 40k Space Marines 2, saying it has no diversity. Meanwhile, the trio in the campaign is a white guy, a black guy, and an Asian dude. Keep seething, freaks. And then this I could not find the actual tweets and articles that were written about this, so I'm using Cloud Play's YouTube channel. He's a fellow gamer. He covers Helldivers 2, and I watch a lot of his stuff just to kind of keep myself informed. But he came out with this. I think this might be on Steam. He says, not bait. You shouldn't play the game until they add female Space Marines. Here's why. This is very long-winded. I'm probably not going to read the whole thing, but
just read it.
Yeah, he says, before you lose it and call me woke, listen up. I don't know, I'm doing that like 1950s news announcer voice.
Yeah.
There are people who have been stomped on for centuries, and we're finally at the point where we can start to make things right. How can you sit there and play a game made by devs who are openly sexist, while also refusing to add even a shred of diversity? What's the big deal with having a single Marine who's intersex, LGBTQ, or female? They did it for the custodes in the game. I don't know what that means because I'm not a Warhammer guy. One character, basically. Please just do one thing. Oh, my God. By playing this game, you are choosing to marginalize people who deserve better at this point. I get that some will read this and say they don't care. Hello, that's me. But maybe, just maybe, try putting yourself in someone else's shoes for once. All right, let me get some feedback on this. I'm going to start with Dutch. Go ahead, man.
I love the way you read things. You're very, very dramatic. Here's the thing.
This is so dramatic. It's like, oh,
yeah,
my God.
Space Marines are dudes. That's it. Space Marines are dudes. And every ounce of lore ever written in the last 50 years of Warhammer or however long it's been out, Space Marines are dudes. Same thing with the Custodes, regardless of what Games Workshop says, every bit of lore that they've ever put out in the past has said that these are guys. And, it's just the way it is. There's nothing more to argue about it. They're just crying their little soy tears of SJW-hood. That they want representation and something that's never ever represented them before in their lives. Go join one of the other armies that's in the game. There's plenty of armies in the game that you can go play a girl in if you want. Nobody's going to care. Just leave Space Marines alone. It's one faction in this game of like 12 different armies. I forget the name of the Imperial Guard. There's women in Imperial Guard. They're just humans. Go play one of them. Go be a Tau. Go be a space elf or whatever the hell they're called. I forget. But they always pick that one thing in the one part of every game that they think that they're not getting any representation to, and they just start having a fit and crying like a bunch of little bitches. So
it amazes me that they're already doing this before the game has actually been released. Like, we're still 2 days out. The game's not even officially out, and they're already attacking it. It's hilarious. Culture, you're in the gaming sphere. Talk to me, bud. What's your ideas on this?
This thing's been around since 1987. Okay, the first rule book, right? And again, I mean, it slowly evolved and became something bigger. And trying to change what it's all about, its lore, is something that I find foolish, because you're now, instead of having all of this enormous number of humans that love playing this and have played it and have loved it and are invested in it, you're looking for, and this is happening across the board, a modern audience that doesn't exist. It's a myth. It's something that they're trying to lean into, and having people react to the way that they are, like Endymion and other people. They go out of their way to clearly let people know why this won't work if they try to force it. I'm just not interested for that anymore. I'm not actually going to play the game. There's only about 10 hours of actual material in total for the single player. Yeah. So I'm just not. That's not enough stuff for me to get excited about it. And look, I mean, there are certain multiplayer games that I invest time in. This just isn't going to be one of them. So maybe I'm just not the right person to talk about this, other than to say you can't change this. Now, if I'm going to play a tabletop game, I'm all in. I've loved the heck out of that, but man, you have to spend thousands of dollars to get yourself an army ready to go. So
it's true.
That's better than actually 9 hours of entertainment for how much did you guys pay?
$60.
Whoa! No,
that's just the.
That's just for the standard package. Nothing fancy, like day of release. Some people have spent 100, 120.
Odin, are you gonna spend that?
I mean, because I'm not, everyone knows me from my gaming abilities, but I game a little bit, right? So for instance, I'm a big fan of the Zelda franchise, played through Breath of the Wild, played through Tears of the Kingdom, and had a lot of fun with that. I'm pretty excited for the Switch 2 when that eventually gets announced as well, especially for any new games that might come from it. But yeah, so just kind of taking it all in, because I'm not really a 40K guy. I don't really play like a whole lot of other games. But first, the whole like beta testing thing, it's such a subversion of how beta testing is supposed to work, right? It's like it used to be, and it still is in some cases. Like if you get the newest version of iOS, right, and you sign up for the beta, it tells you, thank you for doing this, please report issues with it, but know that you might have a bad time because there might be problems. And so if they started saying, oh yeah, if you want to if you want to try this beta early, you got to pay us money. Again, there might be some people out there that want to get that early access, but most people would say, no, thank you. I'll rather wait for it to come out and be a full release for free than to actually go out and pay extra for it. So it's kind of just a whole turning around of this whole beta testing understanding. And then as you were reading that too, right, you did it in a very serious tone, like a letter. All I could think of was that old school video from back in the day where it's the reading of a dramatic breakup letter. It's like, dear loser, Chris. I don't know if anyone's ever heard that before, but that's what it reminded me of. And then the last thing,
I should definitely do a British accent next time.
Yes. And then the last thing is, talking about how they're complaining about one of the factions being an all-male faction. It's like something tells me the same people, if they had a group that was an all-female faction, just naturally a part of the universe, that
there is a faction in the game that's all-female.
There you go. And the point has been made, and their complaint is now completely worthless.
I think they're called the Sisters of Sigmar, if I'm correct.
There you go.
I think I'm going to start demanding that there be some fat male representation in the Sisters, because this is how I feel. No, I mean,
regular guys. I want dad bods in that group. That's what I want.
That's fat guys with beards with power.
Just think they're female, so they could be part of it. They just claim that they're female. They're not actually doing anything to become female. They're just like, I'm a woman. I want to be on your team.
It's like, I have a South Park. I have a female penis.
It's like the South Park with Randy Savage being like, "Yeah, I'm a woman."
It's Sisters of Battle. Thank you, Lord Amnesia, if you remembered that correctly.
I read this or actually I picked up on this morning, and I was just clicking through some videos that I owned to catch up for news, and I saw this. I'm like, I've got to include this in today's show. This is too ridiculous. The game's not even officially released yet, and it's already getting attacked for the DEI nonsense. And it's like, you're not even paying attention. They don't know anything.
The lack of DEI.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah. However, in the campaign, Culture, you brought something interesting up. So $60 for 10 hours of single player campaign mode. Now, the game is offering co-op campaign and PvP as well. So that's just like, it's like 1/3 of the game is that single player campaign. Is that what you prefer? You're not into the PvP online stuff? You like to just do a story?
I prefer storytelling. I like that kind of game. I think I find more value in something like a story-driven thing like Cyberpunk. I enjoy that, which again is taking another game, and utilizing it in a different way in the video game, genre. But I prefer a story. I don't want to just, strategy punch people in the face for, mindlessly for hours on end. It's just not my thing. Don't you find that it becomes repetitive at a certain point when it's just PvP?
I haven't played PvP on this game yet, so I couldn't tell you, but I actually really enjoy the PvP aspect of a lot of games. I look at campaigns like this one, and I'm sure it's, like I said, I've heard it's anywhere from 6 to 10 hours for a $60 game, and that does seem kind of short. I would like to get at least 20 hours of play out of something like this. But I look at campaigns like this as just a long tutorial about how to actually play your game, play your guy to the fullest, and then you're going to get into the multiplayer stuff of the game, which they're going to be building out and fleshing out over the next couple of years. There's going to be years worth of gameplay that they have planned for this thing. So I'm not feeling too bad about a short campaign, because I'd rather play with my boys and have fun over the chat like we do with like Helldivers, for instance. That's why we still play Helldivers. Helldivers has a ton of issues. Yeah. It's buggy as hell. But let me tell you, I log on 3-4 nights a week and I play for an hour and a half, 2 hours with our crew, and we have an absolute ball. It is so much fun. And that's why I like squad-based shooters, because you can hang out with your boys and you can have some fun online, drink a couple beers or whatever, hang out. And I miss that. It's what I miss, that social aspect of games when it comes to a lot of stuff. Sometimes you don't want to do that. Sometimes you just want to like log on to a game like Grim Dawn or Diablo and just go smash stuff. But with this game, I'm looking forward to more of that squad-based shooter PvP stuff, and I haven't done that in a long time. So it'll be fun. I would love nothing more than to get up on my squad and see you on the other side of the battlefield, Culture, and we can go toe to toe and kick each other's ass. That would be super fun to me.
Well, yeah, to beat my brains in. Good time.
Yeah.
Time.
I don't know. Dutch Butters has problems with the finger.
I do. That's like, it is. It's like
where's your power glove at, dude?
I just got this this week. I have no idea how to use it because I've always been a PC guy. So I'm going to try to play Space Marine 2 with this from the onset, and hopefully I'll be able to train my arthritic riddled hands and train my hands how to play a game with this thing. So it'll be an interesting experiment, that's for sure. So
looks like we've got a $4.99 super chat from We Too Dumb. $60 is the price of a new game, but it could fill my pantry with provisions aplenty, feeding me for days instead of a momentary diversion.
You can buy a lot. You can buy a lot of ramen with $60.
I don't know, dude. $60 nowadays is like a carton of eggs. It's just expensive. Thank you so much for the $4.99. Appreciate it. Odin, I got a question for you, man. What would a game have to offer to get you to put down like a pre-order $100 price tag? I mean,
honestly, there's really nothing I think that could actually motivate me to get that. Because they're really, for me, for playing games, I'm not that kind of person that has to get all of the like costume things that you can get usually, like when you're buying ahead of time. It's like, oh, you get the full weapon set, or you get this or that. Like that doesn't really entice me all that much. If anything, I'd be willing to pay maybe a slight bit more to get, if it's a game I really want to play. Like if they announced the next Zelda game, right? And it was in the same vein as Tears of the Kingdom, and they said if you want to play it a month early, then pay an extra $10. That might be something that I'd be interested in, but it would be very small amount of money that I would actually be willing to spend. And yeah, that much especially, there's nothing they could really offer that could make that in any way worth it.
I pre-ordered one time. Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, I think $30-$40 is a little steep for 4 days early access. I think it's a lot. Yeah. So
I once paid $120 to pre-order a game, Assassin's Creed Black Flag, and it was like get it, a week in advance. I got a hard copy. It wasn't a digital download. It was actually got shipped to me, and I played the crap out of that thing. That was the only time I ever spent that money, and I will say I look back on that and go, that probably wasn't worth it.
And that's like, actually. It brings up one other example that I could think of is you buy a game and you spend an extra $10 to get the digital download immediately until the physical copy shows up. That might be worth it because then you're getting both copies there. But they're always very weird about giving you a digital copy. It's the thing that drives me crazy about modern gaming systems is that they download your game onto the system, and so it's like you don't really technically need even the disc anymore, but you still do. It's ridiculous.
But I think having a physical copy is important.
Yes.
I think we need to lean more into that. I think it's better for all of us because consider this: most of the people now are playing games that are 6 years or older. So
I think I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but I think physical copies are fine. But it's like my computer that I bought 3 years ago doesn't even have a disk drive in it or anything to put physical media into. They don't even make machines for that stuff anymore. Everything's digital now.
So I got to build your own.
I understand that, but I know Tom has this wall of physical media, and that's awesome. I'm very happy for that. And yes, I see
external disk drive.
External disk drive. That's cool too. But I know my whole world's gonna go blow up when we have a giant sunspot hit the planet, and I won't be able to play any games. But I won't be able to play them with anybody I want to play with because they're all going to be out too. So physical media definitely has its place, but I think it's going into more of a nostalgia collector's kind of a world than being anything practical. So
my wife sent me a YouTube tutorial on how to take the original Wii console and do like a software update on it with a hard drive that you can plug into it that makes it play everything from the original Nintendo to N64 to the GameCube. It has all the games on it. She's like, I found a Wii on sale on Facebook Marketplace for like $50. We could do this to it. We could have every game we'd ever play. And I'm like, I might actually do that. That's real.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And if not that, I mean, the other cool thing, because I'm also, you all know, I'm about physical media as well, more so with movies and shows than anything else. But with games, that's why emulation is really, really cool. Because they have these really great emulators now. They're shaped like old school Game Boys that you can play any Game Boy game you've ever wanted. And there's others that are really small and yet can still play, N64 beyond, right? Up to maybe like sometimes up to PS2 graphics. There's also some that are so powerful, like it's like the Odin 2 and, no pun intended, but the Odin 2 and other games named similarly that have the ability to play like up to Nintendo Switch games as well. So it's kind of crazy.
All right, let's welcome Tom from Midnight's Edge to the stream. What's up, brother?
Oh, microphone's not working.
Oh boy, I see that mute button getting clicked. He's just raging. Damn it, stupid piece of crap. All right, we'll get back to Tom as soon as he can. And if we need to backtrack on the gaming talk, we can. But for the moment, I am going to switch up the topics here. Uh-oh, he left. He's straight. He's like, oh, I'm screwed.
Screw you guys.
All right. George R.R. Martin finally releases his much-awaited blog post on everything that's wrong with the House of the Dragons. And it's about 5 pages long. It's like 5 pages long, and really the only thing he's complaining about is the one scene with blood and cheese. So I'll set the stage. This will be a little bit of a light spoiler for folks. So if you haven't watched House of the Dragons, be warned right now.
This thing came out 2 months ago. If they haven't seen it yet, it's too bad.
Is what it is. Okay, so blood and cheese refers to two characters in the movie in the show that were hired by Daemon Targaryen to assassinate Aemon Targaryen, who was the opposing side's younger sibling or something like that, who was like a very, very smart and very intelligent general who was posing a threat to the family. And instead of doing that, they actually end up capturing the 2 younger children. I'm going to add Tom back here at the stage. There we go. And then basically the whole plan goes awry, and they end up capturing these 2 young children who are the children of the king, Aemon Targaryen. And there's this whole back and forth. Helena is the mother. She's in the room with them. Blood makes Helena choose which child she wants to kill. And it's like this Sophie's Choice thing where it's like this lose-lose situation for this poor woman. And she says, I want, you have to kill, which I can't remember the name of it, but that one. And Blood, instead of killing the one that she says, kills the other one and then walks over to the child that was supposed to be dead and says, your mother wanted you dead, son. And it like messes with his brain, and it has consequences far, far into the future for the story. That whole sequence was completely changed, rewritten. There's only... there's 2 children instead of 3, and they didn't follow through with this whole Sophie's Choice thing. And that's essentially what George R.R. Martin has a problem with in this sequence here. He's like, well, in the book it did this, and in the story in the show, and it didn't really play out the way I wanted it to, but it's not that big of a deal. It's basically his entire post. That is about 1/16 of everything that was wrong with House of the Dragon. That show had so many other issues. And so many, the legs were cut out from underneath the show because they kept cutting away from the action. Daemon Targaryen, which is one of the cooler characters in the show, spent 6 episodes wandering around Harrenhal for no reason. There's all kinds of problems. Yeah, in a fever dream. And these guys are all super focused on this one little tiny scene that was slightly changed from the books. And I'm like, it was such a nothing burger when I read this. I was so disappointed. I'm like, I keep hearing about George R. R. Martin's gonna put this blog post out and he's gonna shit all over House of the Dragons, and he puts it out and it's a big it's kind of not what I thought it was gonna be, but it's not that big of a deal. It's just so bummed out. Dutch, give me your thoughts on this. What do you got for me?
I don't have a whole lot for you. You're right. I mean, it was just one thing that was wrong in a whole string of things that was wrong with this season. It's like you said, these little things have a butterfly effect, right? I mean, if you don't do this, and how can you get to this point in the book that's in the show without completely rewriting what the show does and is about? You know, otherwise it's at some point it turns from an adaptation of a book to fan fiction, right? So where is it going to? Where does it end? You know, it's like this is what happened with the original Game of Thrones show, correct? I mean, the first few seasons were really good, and then by the end, it was just a big bunch of nonsense, and nobody knew what was going on. So,
bro, check it out.
It's a little concerning. It's a little concerning.
I actually started rewatching the original Game of Thrones show from the beginning, just to do like a rewatch, remind myself. Literally, there was watching it now in retrospect and knowing what I know about what happened behind the scenes, you can actually tell the difference in the acting and the dialogue as soon as season 7 hits. It's like bare bones, low effort shit missile. Culture, go ahead, buddy.
Oh, that's true. But to me, all he wants is attention, because this was a nothing burger. It was an enormous nothing burger, and it took a lot of words to give you nothing. This man is just in pursuit of attention. He isn't even interested in finishing any of the things that he's created. Name one thing that he's finished that you've seen that is all over. I mean, there may be something out there, but the things that I'm familiar with, he's not finished. Maybe this show will be finished. I don't know. Odin, am I incorrect? Probably, but I feel like it's already broken because it's not following his lore. This is the problem with doing this in a way that you have plenty of time to finish something, but you're not even bothering to do an actual adaptation. That's frustrating.
Yeah, and honestly, whenever, like, just knowing he's complaining about it, even in a small way, all I can think of is, well, you know, you spent more time and more words writing this blog post than you have on Winds of Winter the last several years.
Yeah.
So it's like, maybe you should focus your time on that versus picking apart a show's adaptation of your material, even if it does go against maybe what your general thought was. And maybe even if you also have a fair point about that criticism also, but it's kind of ridiculous for him to do that. And honestly, when you were saying, can anyone think of something where he's actually finished it, my mind immediately went to very, very, insulting comments about, well, I bet he finished that sandwich he had the other day, because, I mean, that's all I got. So,
Nice. Tom, have you gotten your audio issue fixed out? Can you chime in here?
Yeah, you guys are a bunch of fucking nerds.
That's true.
Thank you. That's a compliment.
No, I have very little to say on this Game of Thrones business other than George is never going to finish the book.
No.
He's better off never finishing the book, because at least this way, in our minds, there's always that chance that he has a better ending in mind. Newsflash, those were the whole show was based on his notes. So that was the ending he was planning. It may not have been exactly that way, but that's why he's sitting here going, shit, I can't
Nobody
write
liked
this
it.
now.
I got to change it.
And he can't change it, because if it's worse, guess what? Then he really screwed up. So at least in this sense, he's staying on top by going, you know what? I'm better off not finishing it. That way, that is what they see as the ending, and they'll never get to know what my ending was originally, and it'll always be this mythological ending that we never got. And as far as this show goes, he's an egotistical prick. Anybody who does anything that gets praise off of something of his that he doesn't get praise for, he's going to get pissy about it. And that's basically what this is. I don't know any of these shows. I've never watched them, but I know people who know him, and I've heard he's nothing but a little egotistical prick. So, yeah. So at the end of the day, that I'm pretty sure my assessment of this is probably pretty spot on. And I would be surprised if we ever see him finish the original the book series ever.
Could you imagine if we had like a Lord of the Rings series that was a faithful adaptation of the books? And then at the very end, it ends by Sam just pushing Frodo into the lake of fire.
Just
It's the end of the show.
I could see that, though.
What has happened? That's kind of like,
I've had enough of your shit, Frodo. I'm not carrying your goddamn pans for you anymore.
Yeah. Your potatoes. But yeah, that's kind of how I felt like this all kind of ended, right?
Share the load.
Yeah.
Share the load.
I'm glad I haven't read these books, and I haven't read any of these George R.R. Martin books because I can look at it from a non-book reader's perspective at least, and still somewhat enjoy it as and not miss the stuff that I'm missing.
Yeah.
So at least
like
there's that, but
the changes from the book for a TV show, you're always going to have that because sometimes you're just going to need to kind of like distill things down to a more palatable way for TV production as opposed to a novel with 10,000 pages. They're just going to have to do it sometimes. The biggest problem comes when to go back to that season 7 and 8 of Game of Thrones, which I am rewatching right now, and you can tell as soon as season 7 hits, you can tell they low effort shit missiled the whole thing. But even if Tom's right, and it's like, yes, this was George R.R. Martin's notes for how he wanted to end the show, Daenerys Targaryen ends up going a little psycho and kind of like becomes the Mad Queen, just like her father, yada, yada, yada. If you would have let that breathe a little bit, and if you would have done that over maybe an extra season instead of rushing everything in 6 episodes in season 8, then I think that could have been a viable ending for the show. I think that what people had a problem with was this hard switch from season 6, where it's like Daenerys, she wants to break the wheel. She wants to be better than everybody else that came before her. And she wants to change the world for the better, to season 8, where she's just like, burn it all. Like, it just goes crazy. Like it was too much of a switch too quickly. If you would have drawn that out a little bit, I think it totally would have been believable.
Well, irony of ironies about that whole thing is they rushed those last seasons so they could go over and work on Star Wars, and then how those last seasons were, received is why they lost their Star Wars stuff. So like it's kind of like, actually, sometimes some things in the universe do work out the way they're supposed to, because Lord knows what they would have done for Star Wars, but no, you're 100% right. I mean, sure, George could have wrote the same exact story and given it to us in a way that's much more palatable, but these guys just wanted to rush through it, and it just shows you that how talentless they are. Because as long as they have a blueprint to go by, then they're fine.
Yeah. And then Kit Harington kind of popped off recently as well in an interview. I don't have it pulled up or anything like that. It was just something that I caught on Instagram, where I think the Game of Thrones actors, when season 8 came out, you could tell that they were not thrilled with how it ended as well. But nobody ever talked about it, because as an actor, you're not going to shit post on the show that you're actively promoting. It's just bad for business in every way, shape, and form. But now it's been a couple of years. There's a new show out. The spotlight's off of them. And Kit Harington came out and he's like, yeah, we made some choices that I don't think worked out very well. And basically kind of just softballed the criticism of like, yeah, I didn't like the way this ended. I wish it would have been different. But he also mentioned, he's like, I don't know realistically if I could have done another season. Famously, Kit Harington went through a really, really rough patch towards the end of that show, where he was like over drinking and getting kind of in a bad place in his life, and then showing up on set and kind of fucked up and not doing well. And he's like, I don't know if they would have hired me on for another season, I don't know how my life would have ended up. It could have been detrimental to me. So he's like, there's a good side and a bad side to this. It's like, yeah, the show suffered, but at least I walked away from it. It's pretty crazy. Culture, you got any more anything else to say about this?
No, other than I think that I'm just maybe done with all of this stuff. I think I'm done with George's stuff. I'm gonna watch House of the Dragon. I guess there's 3 more seasons left, but I think I may just be done. I mean, I'm not gonna get the books from the best story, and I'm not gonna get much other than I'm tired of prequels. Yeah. I mean, I'm tired of prequels in every way, whether it's a book or a film or a television show, because all it is destroying the original thing. That's all prequels are for.
Is there any interest on the panel about the Dunkin' Egg show that's coming out? None. That's
all. Dunkin' Donuts.
Unless there's a trailer that really entices, then I just like the name alone. I'm like, because I'm not as big into the books or anything, so it's like I hear Dunkin' Egg, and I'm like, that's a name? I'm like, what the heck is this?
Sir Duncan the Tall and Aegon Targaryen. Aegon is in hiding as his squire, for a night, and they basically it's an anthology show where they just kind of go on adventures and do stuff. Go ahead, Dutch.
We're still going to watch it. We're going to watch it. Whether we have interest in it or not, we're going to watch it. We're going to talk about it. And
Gary's going to make me watch it. So
yeah.
Yes.
So is Kadish. There's no way we're not going to not watch it, whether we have interest in it or not.
Yeah.
So, I mean, and that's kind of the curse of being a nerd. I watch all kinds of stuff on TV that I don't really particularly want to watch. I started watching some Terminator cartoon this week on Netflix. I'm like, do I really want to watch this? It's like, the nerd in me wants to watch it. So,
Terminator Zero.
Yeah. I watched the first episode. I'm kind of.
Was it any good?
It's okay, but I've only watched the first episode, so I don't really have much of an opinion yet.
It's getting good reviews on Critic List, at least.
But yeah. So, I think when we ask ourselves, "Are you going to watch it?" the answer is almost inevitably going to be yes. Yes, I'm going to watch it, whether I want to or not. My little nerd inside me says yes. You're going to watch it. So yeah, it is what it is. It's like is there a show with the Star Wars label on it you're not going to watch? No, you're still going to watch it. Do you want to watch it? No, but you're still going to watch it. So it's that curiosity thing that we all have, and maybe it'll be good. Maybe for once in forever we'll have a good Star Wars show come out someday. But until then.
George R.R. Martin's egotistical blog post got the attention of the people who created the TV show over there at HBO, and they basically softballed the most PC answer possible in response to him. Commonly, when adapting a book for the screen, with its own format and in limitations, the showrunner is ultimately required to make difficult choices about the characters and stories the audience will follow. We believe that Ryan and his team have done an extraordinary job, but the millions of fans the series has amassed over the first 2 seasons will continue to enjoy it. Basically telling them to freaking pound rocks, George R.R. Martin. We don't give a crap about you. I really enjoyed that. I'm like, good on you, HBO. Just low key telling this guy to shove it. It's good stuff.
But politely to try to make sure that
if
they ever need to. Yeah, if they need to. Yeah, that's right. They still are working, and it's like to keep that bridge open, I guess.
Yeah, I'm sure he probably. I mean, like I said at the beginning of this, his post was 17 paragraphs of one particular scene, ignoring the multitude of other issues that the show has. And there's also rumors going around right now that HBO doesn't want to fund an entire full season at the, I don't know, who knows how much it costs now, $200 million, $300 million, whatever it is to produce this show. They want to split that up into 2 different seasons to kind of let the budget spread out a little bit, I guess, like too little butter on a piece of bread kind of a thing. Like, I don't know what their idea is behind it, but it's ultimately going to be for the detriment of the show, though, because this show in particular has so many battles and so many big fight scenes with dragons that if they cut the budget, you're just not going to get it.
My guess is that what they probably are thinking is, how can we try to reduce the budget only slightly and also somehow get 2 seasons out of it as well? It's like basically more bang for your buck. And I can see them doing it, but it's going to tick off fans. Now, if the show is still good, it won't really affect them ratings wise much, but making it less episodes in each season. So maybe you do a 12 episode season, but it's split up into 2 6 episode arcs, and then maybe see if they could save money that way would be the only thing I could think of.
You could definitely see them saving some money on the budget with the whole Damon storyline this last season.
Well,
they probably knocked all that out in 3 days of filming. So,
yeah, for real. Yeah, it's probably like 11 minutes of screen time, but they spread it out over an entire season. It was ridiculous. Yeah. But our co-host Jude, when we were reviewing that show, mentioned, she's like, I think it's a contractual. I can't say the freaking word. There's a contract in place for Matt Smith to be in so many episodes of the show for every season, even though they didn't really have anything for his character to do. They were like, okay, well, he's got to be in at least every episode of the show because that's what his contract is based off of.
My understanding is that he's during that kind of part of the book, he's not really much in there, right?
Yeah. So they don't even talk about him much.
Well, I believe.
Go ahead, buddy.
I believe it comes down to the financials. Warner Brothers can't afford this. They can't afford much. They've been devaluing their studio over the course of the last couple of quarters on purpose. They're trying to get to some reasonable breaking point, so you're gonna get more episodes. It's more of a, we need to write this off quarter by quarter in a better way. It's the same thing, that Disney does, but Disney builds an attraction over 7 years instead of like giving it to you in a year. Like Universal, it's Universal, they have plenty of money. Disney, not so much, and Warner Brothers struggling. So that's why you're getting, I believe,
struggling, but they also have basically almost every movie they've released in the last year has been a hit for them. At least they've got that going for them.
True, but it's not enough. I mean, they make more money with video games. They've gotten rocked this last year with the garbage they released. They have another piece of garbage coming out.
Yeah, but look at how Warner Brothers was different about Suicide Squad. They weren't afraid to go out and say, "Yeah, we fucked up. We're moving on. Next."
True.
Like Disney would have doubled down on that.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
I'm just saying. I mean, I just don't want to. I'm tired of people with all this doom and gloom over Warner Brothers when it's a lot of it is just the media feeding into it because they are treating Zaslav like he's the second coming of Trump or something like that. I'm not kidding. Like every day, it's like Warner Brothers is ready to go under. It's like, yeah, he's had the 5 hits in a row. Yeah, they're dying. Barbie really fucked them up.
Yeah, no, I'm just talking about a broader sense of
No. I get you. Travis is saying, yeah.
No, but you're right. I mean, you're 100% right on their successes. It's just they need more across the board, and they don't have it. Which is why they're actually getting deeper into theme parks. Interesting. So, anyway.
I'm going to read one super chat in regards to the House of the Dragon stuff, and then we're going to switch over to the controversy happening with the Geeks and Gamers, Nerdrotic, Acolyte controversy. I'm going to let Culture kind of lead the way on that one because I am barely scratching the surface on what's actually going on. I just caught up on it this morning. But real quick, Fluffy Panda for $5. The stupid strike cut House of the Dragon season from 10 to 8, and it really hurt the ending. And I'm one of those book readers that got stupidly invested. Sigh. Yeah, the real world gets in the way sometimes of our entertainment. That really sucks when that happens because it's not anything. I don't know. We can blame people if we want, but it really doesn't change anything. That's always a bummer. But thank you so much for the $5, Fluffy Panda. Don't forget, guys, if you'd like to support the channel, we're still looking for those 9 gifted subs for the memberships. And if you'd like to have your chat highlighted on the screen, make sure to tack on a couple bucks, and we will make sure to read that. And hit the thumbs up. Boom! And if you're new here, subscribe. All right, cool. Thank you, Dutch.
I'm gonna point you towards Odin to break down what's going on with.
Oh, okay.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, because he's
right.
he's in the midst of it. Yeah.
I also work full time, and so a lot of this story I was just getting from like just random comments and tweets that I was reading on it. But I guess I could speak a little bit to it.
Yeah, talk to me, Goose. What's up?
So essentially what had happened was when it comes to the Acolyte, we all know the show is terrible. It got out of everyone's minds very easily. But then what happened? You had this campaign to try to get a season 2, and that tried to keep it in the limelight, and then it faded away. Then Amanda Stenberg comes out with a video. That gets it more attention. We respond to it, and then it kind of fades away again. And so now you have this basically this targeted campaign against especially Geeks and Gamers, right? Jeremy and Ryan at Geeks and Gamers, RK Outpost, and also Nerdrotic is in the mix as well. And you have this group, which we very easily figured out before they even really kind of put themselves out there. There was this show Rewriting Ripley, I think, that was behind it ultimately. And they were basically targeting these channels saying, hey, they violate terms of service, and then tagging Team YouTube to say, you should pull these channels, you should demonetize these channels completely because they are violating your terms of service. And ultimately, YouTube responds with, saying, well, we do not see the videos you're talking about as violating terms of service, basically saying, no, you're wrong. And then my favorite response from them is the Rewriting Ripley folks say, you obviously then, if that's your conclusion, you obviously didn't read all of the evidence, that we put together. And so basically saying also that our advertisers, or was it our advertiser, our lawyers will be in contact with your advertisers, basically. So kind of threatening YouTube to say, yeah, we're going to try to trigger a new apocalypse, basically.
What's cracking me up is what's going to end up happening is the Rewriting Ripley and all these people involved with it are the ones that are going to end up getting themselves banned for organizing a organized.
Yeah, because they're actually breaking the terms of service.
Because they're the ones actually breaking the rules.
And this goes back like 2 years with the rewriting Ripley thing. I mean, because I remember we threatened them then, and they blocked me and took us off their list and whatnot. I mean, so yeah, like Gary and of Nerdrotic, obviously, and Critical Drinker have been targeted the last few weeks, and I've been saying this. I said this feels like an organized effort on the behalf of somebody, whether it's somebody in Lucasfilm or a group of people that want to, you know, retain access for some reason. So they're doing this to be nice, because don't get me wrong, Disney is not above doing this kind of crap, right? And being behind this kind of crap. I think you guys are onto something here. I've been saying it for a while. Ever since that one post went quote unquote viral, I'm like, this is not normal. This is I said the next step is they're gonna try and get our channel shut down. You watch.
Well, they're gonna have a devil of a time, because we have seen this movie before. I mean,
they have no other playbook, right? Culture, and that's why I've been calling this as far as I'm concerned, this is the opening salvo, the final because they have nothing left. This is their last play. And instead of trying this 2 years ago when Gary and Critical Drinker weren't nearly as big as they're doing it now when they're basically untouchable, right? Like, what are you going to do to them? And, like YouTube even reluctantly is going to go, yes, guess what? Sorry, they're not breaking any rules. Because guess what? Your 5 or 6 dozen little fucking channels don't make a patch of what their channels do for us. Yeah. Sorry, see ya.
Also, it was funny to hear their response, too, because they essentially were saying, it's not like we're saying that the channels should just be completely shut down. We're just saying they should be demonetized. And it's like, oh, okay, yeah, that's great. And then also the evidence, you know, quote unquote evidence they used included the talk about Rose Tico. Right, the whole Kelly Marie Tran thing.
Oh my God!
And so the video,
still on that.
And what's so funny about it though is that then Jeremy very quickly says, "Huh, I guess it's too bad this video's out there." And it's him from back in the day, a few years ago, and it's hilarious to listen to, by the way, because his voice is so much higher. It's funny as hell. And he hates it, I bet. But what's great though is that in the video he says, you know, basically, you know, Kelly Marie Tran seems like a very sweet person. She seems like a very, very good person. No one hates her, and I think that if anyone is trying to do anything, that's not okay. It's like Kelly Marie, but Rose Tico, that character is not very good. So basically, it's like this very, very much going against the entire narrative that they're trying to push up.
Well, that's the beauty of it, Odin, is none of us have ever really went after an actor directly, right? And 9 times out of 10, if they ever do get any vitriol, it's because they came after us first, right? Amanda Stenberg is a perfect example, right? Nobody said jack all about her before she went and put out her discourse video. The only thing I ever heard anybody, including people on this panel or anybody in any other YouTube channel I've ever been on, video I've ever listened to, has ever said anything about her has just been like, yeah, she didn't really quite do enough to make us feel like she was 2 different characters. That was it. That was the most I heard about her before her discourse video. After that, then it was like, okay, you opened up, it's all fair game now, lady, because you came at us. Right. It was kind of the same thing with Moses Ingram before. Everybody's like, she's coming out of the woodwork going, all these racists. It's like, nobody knows who the hell you are. Like, what the hell are you talking about? We haven't even seen the show yet. Yeah. As soon as we seen the show, all we said was the character was stupid. Yep. We didn't say the actress was stupid. We felt bad for some of these actors for having to be in some of these shows.
And I always feel bad for the actor.
That's how they get away with it, though.
Yeah.
That's how they get away with it, though, because what they'll do is they'll paint the Jeremys and the the Fellowship and all these other groups away, and then as soon as you say we've never said that before, you have no evidence, the response is, well, look at this one random comment that I got either in a comment underneath one of those videos, or even more obscure, I got in one of my DMs. And at that point, you're like, okay, so you're bringing up an obscure reference by someone on the internet. Welcome to the internet, lady. It's like, I mean, seriously, any one of us could find a plethora of content that hates us on any given day for any reason, not just skin color, but for anything. And so then trying to basically extrapolate that to say, yeah, you know what, this applies to the big groups as well, even though no one in those big groups have ever called for any harassment of any kind.
Yeah,
I forgot what I was going to say. I was going to add something in there. No, it's okay. It's okay. It probably wasn't that important.
Welcome to YouTube.
I still think the most amount of poison here ultimately is the fact that they all kind of banded together to do this in that way, in the most scummy way possible. And
well, because there's more of them, culture.
We know better than that. But at the same time, they need to be held accountable for breaking the TOS of not only Twitter but also of YouTube, because they outright did. You cannot argue that was an organized campaign to take people out. That's not okay.
That would just be sweet justice, man. That would be the most hilarious thing ever.
At the same time, I hope they stick around because they're fun. You get to laugh at them.
Here's all I know is I feel like you and me, Alex, here at the Salty Nerd, we have not been trying hard enough because nobody's putting our names out there.
Nobody's writing hit pieces on us. And Tom, they didn't mention Midnight's Edge either. So you guys need to try a little bit. You need to try a little harder.
Well, that's because we threatened them. They probably won't again. I don't know. It depends on who it is.
So,
no, but Tom, you actually reminded me of what I wanted to say is the comment about there's more of them, where it's like if they had a leg to stand on, if there were so many people that were disgusted with Nerdrotic's content and Geeks and Gamers content, all this stuff, then those people shouldn't they be watching the freaking show that they're desperately trying to keep on air?
Oh, absolutely.
Like if the numbers were bigger, the show would continue. The numbers weren't there. Disney
well, and their logic
said,
makes no sense.
Perform.
They say we're grifting off the hatred, but yet we want the show canceled. Okay, well, if we're grifting off the hatred, then wouldn't we want the show to continue? Right? Doesn't that actually benefit us then? See, so their logic doesn't even make sense at the end of the day. It's like, you think I give a crap whether or not a show is on or not? That's the other biggest problem about this whole thing. These people are trying to tear people's livelihoods down over a freaking TV show, kids.
And add to that, right, that not only are they doing that, they're also going after the people that are some of the only ones actually watching the show.
Well, and that goes right back to, to the main point you were just making, and that is that there's not enough of them to begin with to even make the show successful.
Yep.
Like, look at their campaign, their little campaign they put out there, and a lot of us even signed it. Right. So, like, just look at it from that perspective. They weren't even able to muster up what, 500,000 signatures yet. I don't know. The last time I looked at it, it was still like maybe close to 100,000 or a little over. But like, yeah, it's like nobody cares. Nobody cares.
Yeah. We got 2 super chats to read real quick on this subject. The first one is from my boy Fluffy Panda. For $5, this proves the online woke army does not watch any content. It was so bad that Disney shut it down. Not Gary, not Ryan, not Jeremy. They gave crap second seasons. So that kind of follows through with the point about there's not enough of these people who want this show to exist to actually be a measurable metric for Disney to continue making it. Like, they spent $180 million on this show, and they were like, they looked at the metrics on the streaming service and they said, you know what, Bluey's still kicking our butt. Cancel it.
Honestly, I think that'd be a hilarious new rule. Like, it'd be amazing if Disney just came out and said, yeah, so our metric for success is how it does up against Bluey, and if it's a certain percentage underneath Bluey, then we're just...
is there any way we could filter out all those people that are hate watching this show for YouTube clicks? Then
the metric's like, even lower.
Cut it in half again,
Dude, it's very much like Rings of Power in that way, right? It's just like the viewership just collapsed. The second season is ridiculous of this Rings of Power mess. Mm-hmm. I mean, I think if you do the math, it's closer to 60% loss from the previous season. I mean, to watch the premiere, that's a nut bar, man. It's crazy.
If Fluffy made a good point too, because he also, like, when he said that last point about they've given crap second seasons, again, think about the shows that they have given second seasons to, and many of them are, it's like they're only marginally, as far as audience size, only marginally better. That just shows you how low this audience had to have been for them to not renew it.
Yeah. We got another super chat from Shorty Short for $2. Thank you very much. Says Rose Tico is an anagram for so erotic.
So erotic. It sure is. That's
Look
good.
at that.
Wow. Put that in a
Well,
tweet,
that's the beauty of that too, is because we've seen the actress in other ways. We know what she looks like, right? We know what they did to her.
Yeah.
So it's their fault.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's what most of us said about it. Nobody said crap all really about the character all that much. Other than, why'd you make her look like she's dressed in potato sack?
Tom, you drove her off of social media.
I know, it's personally my fault. Her and Daisy Ridley. It's all me.
No.
I always
such a
feel
mean
bad.
Actually,
man.
I'm sure I did make Kevin Smith cry at least once or twice.
Yeah,
Well,
but
that's
you
super
can't
easy
say
to do.
anything.
That's a very low bar, Tom. Come on.
Yeah.
I mean, he blocked me everywhere. I mean, he is seriously upset with me. So
Hey, look, if something's good, he cries. If something's bad, he cries. So yeah. You probably are to blame.
It's definitely Tom's fault. We got a comment from our boy Defro. No, please
surprised-
don't. I'm not going to hang out with you.
I'm surprised his
You start-
computer's working enough for him to type on this thing. So,
Defro,
without crashing.
the Acolyte got the Willow Show treatment. Question
Well,
mark.
Akashai get the Willow Show treatment. That's what's happening.
Yeah,
right?
Willow was so bad that they didn't even consider a second season, did they?
But they're gonna delete the Acolyte for what, a tax write-off or something like that.
They should.
Is that
They
how it
should.
works?
About
And-
50-50 at this point, I think.
Can one of you guys that are in the know here explain to me really quick what it means, what they did with Willow, and as far as the tax things go? Because I'm always a little
So,
confused
do you
on it.
remember that Fantastic Four movie that never came out?
Yes.
Same kind of thing.
Fan Force.
That whole movie, yeah, that whole movie was made to basically retain the rights, and then they were never going to release it anyway. Right? As long as the movie existed, that's all they needed to retain the rights.
Okay.
Then they just wrote it off on their taxes as sunken costs, right? So the way these work is when Willow or one of these shows gets put up, if they don't reach a certain threshold, then they can shut them down and consider it sunken costs. Now, they didn't get as much for like Willow as they did for like Batgirl, right? Like Batgirl was still in production. A lot of money had been spent on it already. They were looking at it as, this is going to lose us more money than it's ever going to make. So we're better off just writing it off on our taxes and getting, and they wouldn't even get the amount that they actually paid for it on it. Now, this is where Mexican Iron Man's in the chat. He's better at explaining this kind of stuff. But basically they get a percentage back on it, and they look at it as it'll go against the loss of what they had spent on it. But then they can never release it again. They can never try to monetize it in any way again, because then it would be basically it goes against the whole rules for doing such a thing.
When they do that, they have to get rid of anything that's related to it as well, right? That's why you can't find like action figures and stuff like that in the toy store for the
I mean, that I think once it's out in the market, it's out in the market.
Right.
They see, the thing with toys and stuff is like, look, when we got like the dumpsters full of Star Wars toys, or they get dumped into an Ollie's or a Dollar General, Disney already got their quarter per figure or whatever the hell it is. See, that's the thing that people need to understand. It's the next thing that comes along. This is why we didn't have any Baby Yoda stuff. I guarantee you this is why we didn't have any Baby Yoda stuff, because they were sick of it, because after 2 movies they hadn't pushed or moved any of this stuff anymore, the Star Wars stuff, and they had just been working on Rise of Skywalker, where they had a whole warehouse full of toys that they couldn't send out because these characters weren't even in the movie anymore, because J.J. Abrams is still reshooting it in the desert somewhere to this day. And so then those toys are never going to get released. So they just basically were a waste of space and money. So at that point, I think they took one look at the Mandalorian and other Star Wars things, and they're like, "No, we're good. We're wait," because basically there's the exact amount of time it takes you to fast track a toy to market when Mandalorian hit to when we first finally got some Baby Grogu material on the market. Right?
Disney became notorious for doing that, Tom. Think about Frozen, right?
Licensing. I mean, no, but yeah, as far as the writing it off on taxes, now the thing is they just can never release it again, never make any money off it again. Now the Star Wars Star Cruiser thing, didn't they do something similar with that culture, but now they're repurposing it or something like that? So now I think real estate, it has different rules.
Well,
right?
they took an impairment charge, and yeah, it's being repurposed. I mean, it's the same kind of an idea financially.
Yeah, that's what I was getting at. Though, it's like it's the same kind of idea. Yeah.
Yeah, and it. Look, I mean, if you get rid of Batgirl, you're doing a couple of things. One, you're recovering a little bit through the tax write-off, and number 2, you stop the brand damage, because unlike the Flash, which they subjected us all to, at least they were able to pull out on Batgirl before they ruined that character, right?
Another one is that Coyote versus Acme movie, right? They want a specific amount for that.
Yep.
Why do they want that specific amount? Because that specific amount is probably the amount of money, or it's a little bit more than the amount of money that they will save on writing it off as a tax break. So that's kind of another example of that. So like they're like, okay, if we get this amount, then it's worth us selling it. Otherwise, it's not worth it anymore, because that's kind of where they're at with it. It's a sunken cost. It's lost money on the business, and then this way they can recover a little bit on the taxes. Basically, is how they look at it.
Gotcha. All
right, guys. We got 2 super chats, and then we got to move on to our much awaited Minecraft discussion.
Yeah, remember from the initial question is, I don't think they're going to memory hold the Acolyte. I think it's staying up, because I've been hearing for a while they're not going to willow it. So,
well, if that's the case, okay, really quickly. Sorry about that, Alex. But
no, you're good.
If that's the case, though, Tom, I think they're doing it because they lack good original material for anybody to watch on the service. What's on Disney Plus that's compelling, that's getting people to renew? Nothing.
Bluey.
I think it might be that, or the amount of people that have actually seen it. I think that's part of the tax write-off too. I'm not 100% sure on that. I'd have to. Again, that's something somebody else might know, but yeah,
not enough people.
Now, I guess the one thing I'd ask about the tax write-off is, would that be something of public record, and would they have to actually reveal the real watch hours, like the total watch hours or views or whatever it might be?
I think the write-off would be public record, but no, I don't think they actually would have to admit to whatever was lost publicly or anything like that.
Okay,
yeah.
and one last thing I'm going to say, that if you are looking at Nielsen ratings, particularly for Disney and Disney Plus, you're getting real numbers. The people that are like trying to counter that and say, well, that's not accurate. No, it is, because when you sign up for Disney Plus, the app itself actually automatically turns on Nielsen tracking. It's in if you go looking for it, and I've been talking about this for a while, but if you go looking for it, it's there. In fact, Pro and everybody else over at that Park Place covered that story. So when you look at Nielsen related to Disney Plus, you're getting real numbers. Just there you are.
Fascinating. I've always thought that Hollywood was just a giant money laundering scheme anyway, for the most part. That's why movies cost
it kind of is
$1 million.
Kind of like the Las Vegas Strip.
Well,
it kind of is. I mean, I was saying that new Crow movie is basically a producer scam. And it really is. I mean, the guys who produced the movie, made the movie, they're not out anything. They got paid.
Yep.
The people who aren't going to get paid now are the people who invested money into that shit film. Them are the people who are not going to get paid.
Let's see. Destiny Captain member for 9 months says that's Jennifer Salke's Rings of Dookie.
Yep.
Rings of Dookie. Yeah, I am not watching that show. I don't care how much Kadish wants me to talk about it. Fluffy Panda. This is a good one. Now I'm gonna have to right the ship a little bit here. Fluffy says, does anyone have the woke mob deets? So I can organize an S&P boycott for hating on John Wick 4, Goonies, Pineapple Pizza. Tom's safe because he likes turtles. Okay, so you don't want to go to the woke mob. That's not who's going to take us down. If you want to take us down because of John Wick 4 and the Goonies, you got to talk to Jay, Drunk 3PO. He will definitely organize a boycott for the S&P because we hate both John Wick 4 and the Goonies.
Pineapple pizza.
Pineapple on pizza.
I love
I think we're split. It is. I'm with Odin. That is garbage.
I think
it's a scientific fact that pineapple goes bad the moment you put it on pizza, and so does the pizza.
Okay, look, the best thing in the world is Canadian bacon with pineapple on top of it, and you dip it in a big old bowl of ranch dressing.
Oh.
That is the best stuff in the entire world. And if you want to make it even better, you can put some like spicy sausage or pepperoni on there as well.
Jesus.
So
how about we just keep the meat on there, give it to me raw, and let's leave everything else off. Yeah.
I'm joining the boycott now. All of a sudden, I'm inspired.
Okay. This body was made by ranch dressing and pineapple pizza, guys.
Hey, look, ranch I'm all good with. It's the pineapple. Pineapple does not mix with ranch.
Yeah, no.
You see this?
Get your fruit off my pizza, man.
No, I did.
Get your fruit off my pizza. What are you pulling something up? Oh,
Dutch is correct. My boy Def. That is right.
Def wrote.
Put a poll in. Put a poll in the chat. Let's see.
How do I do that?
You go to the chat, and then there's a little like plus button, I think, right?
Yeah.
It's been a while since I've made one myself.
Is ranch or no ranch?
I'll let Dutch do that while I bring.
I don't know how to do it.
No, it's pineapple or no pineapple.
No,
I only have
already know the answer to that.
No, do we? Let's see.
I don't know. There's 175 people watching. Let's get 175 votes on
Decent sample.
whether or not
Decent sample.
pineapples.
I don't know how to do polls, guys. I'm sorry. I'm kind of I'm going to get canceled here, but I'm kind of retarded. Okay.
Can we stop talking about all this nasty
I don't know
crap?
how to do it.
Yes, please. All right. Speaking of nasty crap, let me just add this here real quick. This is the only thing I'm going to show about this topic. This is it. This is the make or break. Either you love it or you hate it. Very much like pineapple on pizza. Jason Momoa in a wig. That's it. That's the topic conversation.
What is a Minecraft? Why is a Minecraft? And why should I care about a Minecraft?
Okay. I've been playing Minecraft for, God, I hate to say
I'm
this.
kidding,
but
of course. I know what it is.
Probably a while. Yeah. It's Legos. It's virtual Legos. But that's how I describe it when I'm talking to my fellow parents. I've got kids. My oldest is 9. My youngest is 3. And it doesn't matter, man. If it's Minecraft, they want to build stuff. They want to dig. They want to find things. They want to create portals and go to the netherworld and all this other stuff. Minecraft is just this generation's virtual Legos. Like you can do anything with it. I have no problem with Minecraft. I've loved it. I've played it. I've probably put a couple hundred hours in the game. I've created massive structures and dug tunnels down to the bottom of the earth. It's a blast. When they announced that they were making a movie, I was like, oh, hell yeah, man. That's going to be cool. Because as the game has aged and as the game has kind of progressed throughout the years, I'm sorry, Tom, I just noticed that your face is blocked off. I don't want that. That's no good. Hold on.
No, leave me off because I usually go off camera. But yeah, so you can put your stuff back up there.
Usually, Mr. Kadish does not care that one of us is blocked at the bottom.
No.
Yeah,
No. We can't.
That's
have
why I
that.
tell him just put me at the bottom anyway because I usually bop around.
Mr. Kadish is the standard bearer here. So
He's not here today, okay? Quit invoking his name.
I'm not filling in. I'm not filling in. I'm covering. That's the difference. On my stream, Tom, you get your FaceTime. Come on, get back on there. So when they announced that this movie was coming out, I was like, oh hell yeah! And they were like, Jack Black's going to be on it. And this is before his ridiculous controversy with Kyle Gass over the Trump thing. This is way before that. I always know that any actor that is in Hollywood is going to be a ridiculous left-leaning psychopath when it comes to the election season, whatever. I try to separate the art from the artist. I'm like, look, I love the Mario movie. Jack Black's in that. He does great. I like a lot of his work. I love Tenacious D, all that stuff. Jason Momoa was an odd choice when they announced it. I was like, oh, that's going to be weird. But if he's doing just some kind of a voiceover cartoon character, I'm cool with it. I was expecting...
Remember really like last year or so when we got that video of him getting a letter or a phone call from somebody in Hollywood when he was on vacation and he was all super excited for getting some kind of movie role? I bet it was this one.
I bet you it was this one.
I bet it was this one.
Done properly, this movie could be $1 billion movie very easily. It could be just as successful as the Mario movie, but without even having a problem. Because there's so many, you could literally do anything. Minecraft is just a blank canvas for a story to tell. And there's games out there like Minecraft Dungeons where you're literally a dungeon crawling. It's like World of Warcraft. You kind of third person up view, digging through, doing all missions. There's a hero's conquest. There's a storyline. You could literally do anything. The decision that I have a problem with this movie as a parent who I know I'm going to have to suffer through watching this movie with my kids is the fact that they did this weird mixture of live action with a terrible wig and this CGI stuff. Now, I will say that this weird, like quasi-realistic, like fuzzy Minecraft world that they're creating here is a very interesting and bold choice that I am not necessarily opposed to. This, I would not have thought they were going to do it, but I do think it's unique and cool. It almost looks like a little bit of an old school claymation aspect to it. My biggest problem is just these ridiculous.
Why aren't the rest of the characters like that though? Then
exactly, that's what I wanted. I wanted everybody to be this weird cartoon character, and maybe they're going for this Jumanji thing, right? Where these real life kids get sucked into the game. I get what they're doing. They're just going to recreate Jumanji with Jason Momoa instead of The Rock and Kevin Hart. Fine, whatever. But this is just.
Yeah, you're right. They're going more Jumanji when they should be going more Lego movie.
Yes, right. Exactly. I'd love to get your guys' thoughts on this. Is anybody here? Oh, no,
that's pretty much my thoughts on it, basically.
Do you play Minecraft on this?
So I have kids, but my oldest, he's almost 4, so he really hasn't played many. Like he doesn't do games or anything like that. Right. But I have played Minecraft before, and it is a lot of fun. I'm one of those persons that actually prefer watching Minecraft versus actually playing it because I'm just, as I mentioned, I'm not that big of a gamer, and so I find it difficult myself sometimes just to like get everything organized the way that I want it to. But I'm a big fan of it. So as soon as I saw this trailer, though, I just was immediately, oh man, okay.
Yeah.
I could not stand the fact that, one, I actually do disagree. I hate when Jack Black is in things these days, because I actually hated the Mario movie, and one of the reasons why was because Bowser was not Bowser. Bowser was just Jack Black. Like, it was literally just Jack Black being Jack Black, pretending to be Bowser, but it was just Jack Black. And that bothered me, because it's like, no, like, if you're gonna do the story, like, at least create a Bowser character, right? Then you get this, right, with Minecraft, and it just doesn't make any sense at all. And yeah, I think you're right about maybe they should have gone, they should have gone full animated with this. I think that had they done that, it absolutely would have been something that would have worked really well. And also it would have made the changes they made at least make a little bit more sense. Like, when you add in the real life human beings, there's no reason for you to not keep it accurate to the game. And instead they had to change some of the characters, like the pigs and other things like that, to make it more animated, right? To make it obviously more engaging. But that only really works if you're going to do it for the entire movie, not if you're going to have human characters in an animated world. It's a really bad choice on their part. And I think based on this trailer, I don't see how it does well.
Yeah, Jack Black. Sorry. Go ahead, Culture. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, I'm with you, Odin. I agree with you 100%. And there's a reason why this thing is getting ratioed to pieces. Because right now it's thumbs down at 1.2 million plus. So it's getting it's getting rocked. Now, a lot of people have seen it. And this is the other thing that I think is telling. If you have that many people seeing it and you only generated 528,000 or whatever that is, 82,000, excuse me.
Yeah, 582,000 thumbs up.
Now, look at how many views this has. 27 million?
Yep.
Do you think there's a lot of love for this thing?
Nope.
Do we have the things we can actually see the actual downvotes? Does anybody have that?
Yeah, it's 1 point.
I see Salty does not have that extension.
I don't know. I don't pay for extra.
So what's the down?
It's free.
1.2 million downvotes to the 582 up.
Warner fucked up with this one.
Yeah.
Dang. Well, here now this, because this is not coming out until next April. If they wanted to, and I'm not saying they're going to do this, but do you guys remember the backlash that the Sonic movie had? And they came out with that disgusting Sonic the Hedgehog, and everybody was like universally like, "Whoa, dude, no, you got to fix that shit." They went back, and to their credit, they fixed it, and that's one of the reasons why I supported that movie so much, is because they listened to this backlash and they went and they did the right thing, and they created this really cool character, and I honestly like both of those movies. If they did the same thing, where they took the next 8 to 10 months, maybe delayed the release a little bit and made it more of a summer blockbuster type movie, put it out in there in July or something, and they went back and they just kept all the voiceovers for all these characters, but then they just animated everybody out. Because obviously this is probably, God damn it, this is probably all done on green screen anyway. This is all computer animated, and they're just walking around in a big blue set.
Yeah.
How hard would it be for them to go through and just remove the actors and put more animated characters in there? Yeah.
The problem, I think, is the people you have in your film, because part of what they were likely, in their contracts, you would then be basically, instead of it being them as the actual person, as the actual actor on screen, it would just be their voice. And so I don't know about what the kind of ego these characters have, or these actors have about their performance or about what they wanted this performance to be for their career, but they would have to get probably them to sign off on it and probably have to pay them more money. They have to really probably figure out, okay, how much benefit can there be for this to spend X amount of money to make maybe X amount back?
I would say that the chances of it doing much, much better would be way higher.
Oh,
if
for
they
sure.
Actually did that. They could actually make their money back. Dutch, you sound annoyed. Talk to me. What's up, dude?
Well, first off, I changed my avatar because I want everybody to know and see what a good-looking guy in a blonde wig looks like. Okay, I rock that blonde wig, dude. I do. I'm sorry.
You keep telling yourself that, Dutch. That's what you're good at.
I could probably, well, I'm not going to go there. But by looking at my own picture, but you know what I'm saying. I'm disturbed by looking at your screen cap that you have Miley Cyrus over there that you've completely viewed.
This one?
Yeah.
That's dude. That's her cover of Zombies by the Cranberries is freaking epic.
Mm-hmm.
It's actually good.
All right, Miley fan, whatever you say there. Buddy.
Miley Cyrus fan confirmed.
Confirmed. You just outed yourself, dude, by showing us your history.
It's a good. What is on my?
All
this
I
is
know
the
is I
gaming
got an
channel,
audible. I got an audible impression of what this movie's going to be.
too.
Oh my God, we're in the video game.
Yeah, that's
Badass. There you go.
That is what's going to be.
Wow.
But my take on this whole thing is it's a very simple one. It's not for me. It wasn't made for me. I have no interest in watching this.
That's not for you? Are you sure?
I'm not going to spend money on this. If Alex wants to take me to watch this movie when he takes his kids, I might go hang out. I might hang out with the uncle or something. But I'm not going to go. I'm not interested.
You don't want to see those bangs on the big screen?
No.
I'm gonna wait for if I have to watch this with my kids. If they nag the crap out of me to watch this movie, I'm gonna try to convince them not to.
Yeah.
By distracting them with something else. But if they are adamant that Dad, I really want to watch the Minecraft movie, I'm waiting until that stuff comes out on streaming.
All I'm saying is
I'm not spending $100 to take my family to this thing.
What I'm saying is, if you needed some company, you wanted to buy me a beer, I would probably go hang out if I'm bored. Okay, but otherwise, I have no interest in this movie. Yeah, that'd be kind of fun. We could sit in the back of the theater and just scream stupid stuff like we did during what was that one movie we went and watched?
John Wick 4.
John Wick 4. Yeah. How long is he gonna fall down these stairs? My God.
We started laughing in the middle of the movie, like, oh my God, this is so stupid.
Yeah, it was pretty fun.
Good stuff.
It's a great film. How dare you?
Yeah, it was an awesome film. You guys are something wrong with you.
The best.
You don't understand entertainment.
No.
But yeah,
You
I
don't.
have no interest in this movie at all for me.
Too cynical.
The trailer was what it was, and it is what it is. So moving on.
All right, Culture, you got anything for me? Have you talked about this already? I'm losing track of who went.
I didn't say anything other. It looks like garbage.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, my contribution is going to be no and thank you.
Okay.
That's my role. That's what but first you gotta listen, Alex. When you want a question from me or an answer, you have to give me a long-winded 5-minute build-up intro. And ask a question, then answer it yourself, and then ask me another question, and I'll reply with something like no, and then that'll be the end of it. So.
Yeah, look, the numbers speak for itself. I mean, let's just be clear.
Is Tom frozen, or is he just really good at standing up?
He's raising
his hand. Oh my God, he's really. Oh man, holy shit!
He has something to say.
You were so still. I was like, I think his screen's frozen.
I used to do that all the time, trying to get people's attention. But I'm going to just say that if you have 27 million people watching a trailer and they couldn't hit the like button,
that's not good.
That's not good.
Well, and the massive dislike proportion to the 500,000 upvotes. I mean, really, my response to this is you got a better chance of me going to see the gender swapped Linkin Park in concert than me going to see this movie.
No.
You guys see
That doesn't
that?
sound bad.
Oh yeah, she sounds just. She sounds.
That's not the point. That's not the point.
Like Chester.
That's not the point.
That's not the point. Chester's dead. What else are you gonna do?
The point is, then you move on. You don't do the same group. You do a new super group.
The band died with Chester. Start a new one.
The band died. There's only one time in history, one time that I can think of where a band switched their lead singer after somebody died and it worked. AC/DC.
Yeah.
That was it. No, not even Journey. Like they still got a kid who sounds like Steve Perry, right? So it's still Steve Perry is still Journey at the end of the day. Let's be real here. Like even it's like, do you kids not remember when Van Halen and Van Hagar went off? Like you had two camps go. It's like, nope, screw this shit. It's not even Van Halen anymore. It's even a joke in Joe Dirt because of that. Sorry,
I do have one. What about Alice in Chains? I do like the new guy. He's no Lane Staley, but they've made it work.
But here's the thing, though: is if they continue the band, don't they actively try to find somebody who sounds very, very similar to the original singer?
Usually, but this is the other thing is too. My kid's like a big fan of Linkin Park. He's telling me like half the band ain't even with them anymore. So it's like at that point, why don't you just do the Foo Fighters thing?
Yeah,
right? Because even those guys knew there was no going forward with trying to replace Kurt Cobain. No, right? It just wasn't going to work. We're better off trying to do our own thing with 2 or 3 of the guys. Let's do that.
Dave Grohl and guys.
Just come up with a new band, and people would have got behind them. That's my whole point. That's why I say it doesn't matter. It would have been a guy. I would have been the same reaction.
Would you say in the end it doesn't even matter?
In the end, it doesn't really matter, Odin.
That was good, buddy.
Terrible. Terrible. That was great. That was really good.
Look,
No, I didn't mean to switch gears, but Minecraft,
No,
I don't
actually,
think-
I really wanted to talk about that because I've been watching a bunch of the videos of the new Linkin Park on YouTube and stuff, and then doing direct comparisons to Chester, and I'm like, God, guys, just switch it up, man. Just start a new band.
I mean, if you want to do
I
new
like her.
stuff, if you want to do
Glad
new
you do.
stuff, then you just make a new band. I mean, if you want to do the Queen thing, then yeah, you find what's his face from American Idol, and you run out there and you do a few shows, and nobody gives a crap, right?
I'm gonna butcher this name. I want to get this taken care of real quick.
It's
Kalikioki?
Kalikioki or Kalikioki. Yeah.
Okay. All right. One gifted membership. Thank you so much, sir. We're down to what are we getting? We need 7 more, I think. 7 more before the end of the stream.
Tom, you're
8.
rich. Give some
I
memberships.
can't count. Membership.
What universe? I
anyway.
still owe you money, you say?
No, I don't think you do. I was joking the other night.
I probably do.
Oh, man.
I don't think so.
Is
I
there
don't think so.
off books gambling going on over here? Are we?
No,
Am I missing poker night?
No, I want Tom to go to movies. So,
Oh, okay.
Tom, I sometimes send Tom movie money.
That's what I do for Dutch.
Unfortunately, he may actually go out there and get popcorn buckets with it, but I don't know.
Oh, I didn't like Beetlejuice enough to buy the popcorn bucket.
Did you not have the snake bucket?
No, they had the recently deceased book.
Can we talk about that really quick?
Yeah.
What's up?
I haven't seen it yet, but my wife and I were planning on going next weekend because it's not really high on my priority list, but I want to go do something with her. Beetlejuice is not getting great reviews. Is that correct? Is it?
I would
not
love to
good?
talk about that because I
Culture
loved
it.
Okay.
Oh boy.
Here's the thing.
Opening
I'm
up a
gonna put
can of
this out
worms
there.
here, guys.
Well, no, I'm interested.
I have never.
wanna hear.
I have never seen the original.
Let's try to keep it non-spoiler.
I was thinking. What I want to do is I want to watch the original and I want to directly go into the second one.
Yeah,
You're really
what I
gonna
wanna
hate
do.
the second one then.
But should I not though? Should I not bother?
Well, the problem is look, culture enjoyed it.
Yeah.
But here's what I can say, a non-spoiler, real quick review. The problem with this movie is it feels like a streaming show that has been crammed into an hour and 45-minute movie. Maybe that's because they got TV writers to rewrite the script. But that's the thing. I mean, is there any woke problems with it? Not really. There's just too many new characters, too many new storylines, too much going on. Some of this should have even been left for another movie, or it should have just been a streaming sequel instead of an actual movie. Then you didn't have to live up to it being a sequel to a 36-year-old movie. Because at this point, yeah, it's getting a B+ on the cinema score, which is not good. So it's going to open okay, but I don't know how well it's going to do in its second weekend now. Because the word of mouth is kind of mixed. It's not that it's a horrible movie, but it's not good. It's just too much.
But I gotta check out my girl Jenna Ortega, man. Come on.
She's rated it.
Sadly, one of her storylines is one of the worst storylines in the film. I mean,
Oh,
she's
man.
fine. She's fine, but they're
Dude, it's the fiance. The fiance guy is the one I want to smash in the head.
Oh, he can go too. Yeah, like his character could have went to. Yeah, there's a good rewrite would have fixed this movie. Like a real quick, like script doctor or somebody like me could have went in and just gone, okay, first of all, get rid of this character, streamline it by making Beetlejuice do this. Boom. There you go. There's your movie. Because Monica Bellucci shows up at the beginning and then doesn't hardly show up through the rest of the movie again. Like that whole storyline could have been left for an entire movie. But yeah, and it looks like it's shot for streaming too, because they shot it on digital and not film. So it doesn't match the visual
that's the
thing that the first film has too.
Yeah, it really screwed up the motion.
And there's a few jokes that might turn some folks off. Like I know my dad was one who loved the first movie. What he loves about it though is its cartoony aspect. This one leads a bit more into the grotesque stuff a little bit too much. Like there's a certain scene that I know he would be completely turned off by, and he'd be like, "No, I'm done with this." And there's just other stuff. There's certain characters here that they didn't need. That didn't even really need to be part of the story anymore, that are former characters. Other ones they just completely write off with one quick line, right? So it's like, why didn't you just do that with the other character too? But yeah.
And when I go back to the beginning of the film, and one of the reasons I think it's so slow is because it tells too much early on at such a slow pace. So, I mean, again, I still think this film is a 7. I mean, I went with the IGN score, because that's the end thing. Let's give it a 7. But, but at the same time, I mean, I started out at a 7.5, but Danny DeVito should not have been in the film. Danny DeVito's in the movie for no reason. That character doesn't even need to be there.
Yeah.
Oh,
Jeez.
sorry.
It was a fun surprise to see that in the movie. I've already seen it, so I know. But it's like I wouldn't have mentioned that one because it was a fun surprise to be like, oh look, it's Danny.
Yeah, but it was like it's like 8
Yeah,
minutes
but that's part of the problem with the film is you have him in a cameo, but his cameo, you get a bunch of character development for his cameo. Right? Like that's like every one of these characters in this movie. It's like it's overdeveloped as far as the characters goes and underdeveloped as far as the story goes. Right? I can tell you a lot about these characters, but as far as the story goes, it's kind of like there's so much shit going on. For me just to explain the story to you, we'd be here for like another 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Well,
because we tried to do it on the review.
The two things I would say, so the two good things about the film for me are the score. I really like the score. Opening sequence is just, it's again very nostalgic because it just, I really have always liked the Beetlejuice score a lot. And I'm someone where I've seen the original several times, but I actually liked and grew up with the cartoon. That's like what I always like kind of went with. And so I really like that part of it. And then I think Michael Keaton does a great job. And I think because of those factors, I think more people, especially now that you have lower expectations going into it, might enjoy it more. Because the other problem with me was I went in with very high expectations because I was very excited for the trailer. I thought, oh man, a sequel that could actually be good. And then what we really got was just a decent movie. And that really, like, it's one of those things where the more you think about it, the more you sour on the idea. And so that's why for me, it's like a 4.5. I have it like a 45% decent score on Critic List. And that's, I think where most people are going to probably fall is somewhere in that middle to bogus territory.
Sadly, yeah. I mean, the best performances obviously being Michael Keaton and Catherine O'Hara. They like literally feel like they just slipped right back into their roles without even, a bit of effort. Winona Ryder's a little shaky. And I mean that literally, like she looks like she's suffering from alcohol withdrawal or something throughout the film.
Oh, Jesus.
And the rest of the characters are fine, except for the fiance. Like Culture said, he's just pointless and unlikable. And he's meant to be unlikable, but I mean, he's just unlikable in general in the film. It just drags the movie down.
And all I want to say is that it really seems like both Tom and Odin have no joy in their lives anymore. They can't find joy.
Look, this movie has a similar twist to Frozen Empire, and I saw a lot of people get pissy about that. And that really is where the movie took a turn for me for the worse, because it's like, I've already seen this movie. It is basically Frozen Empire and Afterlife crammed together. The same basic concepts. Yeah, basic concepts.
Except no lesbian girl relationship.
Oh, would you get over that already? I don't care if they're lesbians or not. It doesn't fucking matter. It's still a stupid twist. It's the same basic story. You have a kid who's disconnected from her parents, wants to connect to a parent she can't, or another family member. So that's a big part of the story, like Afterlife. And then yes, you also have a bit of a friendship/romance thing going on with somebody who may or may not be there. Okay, so yes, there's some very similar things to those two movies, and I'm walking out of it going, I've seen this already.
Yeah.
I didn't laugh, but maybe 3 or 4 times. The funniest scene in the whole movie is a Catherine O'Hara scene, and it's in the first few minutes of the movie. So you're like,
in the trailer?
No, it's one of the few scenes that isn't in the trailer.
She's really, really good. And again, I think
it's when they go to pick up Astrid. That's like one of the funniest scenes in the whole movie.
Yeah,
it's like,
she and Michael Keaton really do steal the show. I didn't see alcohol withdrawals and
it could have been with the way she was playing the character. It's just it didn't feel like Lydia, and I get it. I give her credit. Like I did compare it to Luke Skywalker, but at least Lydia by the end of the film is the Lydia we remember.
Yeah,
at least
she gets that. It wasn't a good performance. Is the problem?
But it wasn't a very great performance.
It reminded me of her performance in Mr. Deeds, where you're just like, "Oh, this is not a good performance."
Yeah, I kind of get that from anything that she's been in here in the last few years.
Well,
I think it's just.
And the movie comes to a dead halt in the third act for a fucking musical act. Right, like they're trying to emulate the Deo scene from the first movie, but they move it into near the end of the film, and it drags on and on and on. You have to like the song MacArthur Park for one thing.
I do.
I like it. I actually like that part. It did go on long. I will agree with you. It went on long. But
it was only 2 minutes long, and they cut the song down. MacArthur Park is an 8-minute song. Yes, they cut it down, but that sequence goes on for what feels like 8 minutes.
I will say this as someone who actually I actually know the parody of that song done by Weird Al more than the actual song itself. I just got to confirm: are those the actual lyrics to the song?
Yes, it is a song about a cake melting in the park. during a wedding or whatever. It's a stupid song. It is one of the dumbest songs ever made in history.
That's probably why I enjoyed it more too, because I'm listening to the lyrics and I'm like, wait, these are the real lyrics.
Yeah.
It would have worked had they chopped it down a bit more. But like at that point in the movie, you're at the climax and you're like, okay, let's truck it along here. At least the Deo sequence comes in the middle of the original film, right? Like it's not. Yeah.
Well, it also comes at the end as well. But I loved.
Well, that's different though. She's doing that on purpose.
I now believe that Odin has a little bit of joy in his life because
I
he
do
did
too.
enjoy the end.
I am so happy
There's
right
fun
now
to be
that
had.
There is some fun. The
but here's
bobs
the
are the
thing.
best part of the movie, but you've seen most of that in the trailers.
The bobs
Yeah.
are hysterically fun.
Listen, you have fun, all right? But the other way I describe it is that I think there are some people that are gonna have a lot of fun with it. Some people that might have a little bit, like I was kind of in that I had a little bit of fun. But I think most people will agree, is it a movie that you'll go back and rewatch?
No.
Probably not. You'll probably be like, I'd rather watch the original again.
Yeah.
So
But it seems to be the way of almost all sequels now, Odin.
Yeah.
And the big thing you see with the problem watching them back to back is the first movie is so well paced.
Oh yeah.
And the third act of that film, especially the climax, is a masterclass in editing. Like, it is amazing how they managed to edit that whole sequence together. There's so much going on, and so fast, so quick. I mean, Michael Keaton's like the Robin Williams in that movie, like the genie. I mean, he's just in the first one. I mean, this one he's slowed down a little bit more subdued, but I mean, that first movie's a masterclass in everything. And this movie is like everything you don't do for a sequel, basically.
Go ahead, Dutch.
Go ahead, Dutch. What's up?
Was there ever an attempt to get Gina Davis and Alec Baldwin in this movie?
I don't think so. They're the ones that are basically described away with one line.
And I mean, would they have had a place in this, or is it just? It just seems weird to me that they wouldn't.
it would have been a bad idea because it would have just been more characters to add to the already massive character soup that you have.
Also, isn't Alec Baldwin at this point? He's too radioactive to be in movies.
He's pretty radioactive, but
yeah.
Well, what's funny is there is another radioactive actor that's not in this movie, but his character is.
Yeah.
Which is great.
Which is weird, but
I thought it was great.
It could have been handled better.
Yeah. Not as far as
it comes off basically like a compromise between the director and the studio. Like the director wanted the actor in the film, the studio rejected that idea. In fact, they wanted something bad to happen to him, so the director found a way to make the character be praised and looked up to, but they still found a way to say F you to the actor. Does that make sense? Once you see it, you'll know what I mean. Okay. It's kind of like a weird, awkward thing. Yeah.
And it comes down to this, though, Tom, and I think you already agreed with me on this. Come back.
I'm here.
It was the fact that you can still tell that Tim Burton's pissed off at Hollywood.
I don't get where you guys are getting this. Tim Burton is pissed. What do you see in this movie that you guys think Tim Burton is pissed off at Hollywood?
Because he's taking shots at different things throughout the film.
When?
Throughout the movie.
Please give me an example, because I've yet for somebody to give me an example. Yeah, because I really don't see that in this movie. Odin, do you see that in this movie at all? I don't.
Not off the top of my head, but I'm waiting for culture to
get
I'll give you the example, like giving her the lines that make her seems like you're gonna hate her character. I'm talking about Jenna's character, Astrid. Giving her lines that normally would be like the modern audience garbage, and just having people just ignore it, toss it aside, this completely not care about it.
Oh, okay, yeah,
and then ultimately,
that is part of her character. That's like her father. That's why.
But then she evolves by the end of the film, tossing aside that. But there were moments where I was like, nobody in Hollywood try to make this joke now. Nobody in this would try to do this now.
I would say it's not against Hollywood as much as it's being just subversive in different ways. Like there's some really great comments about about therapy, and the one that I really liked a lot though was basically how they go after the fiance character.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah. And that's in it there a lot,
because he really is a caricature.
Yeah, but I'm not
a
so
male
much
feminist, and I think that
say,
the way they handle that's pretty funny.
I don't know if it's so much a thing against Hollywood as it's just Tim Burton's biting commentary on certain things in general.
Yeah,
because he always does have this weird kind of. Like, the thing I love about Tim Burton, like, I'll give you this much. This is probably the most Tim Burton movie we've had in 20 years. Like, that part is probably true. But it's like discount Tim Burton. It's not quite Tim Burton yet. Yeah, he's not back, but he's got a little bit of the juices flowing, it feels like. But there's, I would say, more mean-spiritedness in this movie than there is a thing against Hollywood. He's just... there's an angriness about the movie in the movie itself. And that's one thing that Grace wasn't completely wrong on when she said this whole thing about the abusive men thing. There is this through line of abusive men. Like basically there's only 2 guys in the movie who aren't, or 3 that aren't complete pieces of crap, basically. So that part is not inaccurate. But again, I don't know about this. It's not woke really, but there is this idea of there's a lot, there's the women dealing with the abuse of the men in their lives or the loss of the men in their lives. Does that make sense? So, yeah. So
in the end, I'm going to still go watch this movie in the theater next weekend with my wife. But I'm going to lower I'm going to lower my expectations.
If you go in with extremely low, you'll probably have a good time.
Because I was really looking forward to this movie. I was looking, because the advertisements and the trailers look great. But so no, that's cool. I'm glad you guys are clearly passionate about this movie. I wasn't expecting to turn this into a 15-minute long segment, but
sorry.
It's cool, man. It's great. That's what we do.
Yep. The other topic we have is X is starting on TV app, so I'm cool talking about Beetlejuice.
Well, I mean, the other problem with the movie is like the characters are likable enough for the most part, but there's just too many of them. Like the Willem Dafoe character, for instance, is a great example of a character who really doesn't do anything in the story. He doesn't need to be here. But I would have loved to have seen like a spin-off show of his character set in this universe. Right? Like that I would have no problems with. But in the movie itself, he really does one thing and one thing only, and that's it. And that is basically tell Beetlejuice what's going on. He's exposition. Other than that, he serves zero purpose. He does nothing else through the rest of the movie but just show up and ham it up and stuff like that. I'm not going to get into details, but because I don't want to ruin any of the possible jokes there could be for some people. But yeah.
Cool. I mean, if I was that worried about it, Tom, I would have gone and seen it this last weekend. So, it's all good.
$2 super chat from Kalichi Oki says Snow White release, and this is 2 weeks apart. Thank you for the $2. Appreciate that.
The Minecraft one.
Yeah. I think one of the two is getting delayed. Again.
I think both of them. I think if both of them will be colossal failures.
But for sure.
Minecraft might just win just because of the simple fact that nobody wants to see Snow White.
How many kids out there are just Minecraft crazy though? I mean,
my kids.
It does have that going for it. Yeah,
it's funny because the best analysis I've heard of this so far comes from Asmongold, who said that this is targeting 12-year-olds and 38-year-olds.
Yeah,
that's it. That's it. It's just those two groups.
And Jack Black is not a dumb actor to bring into this stuff because I'm going to tell you something right now. The first actor my kid knew by name was Jack Black.
Yeah.
Okay, so that part I understand, but I agree with like the whole sentiment of this whole idea is it going to work to bring in an adult audience? That's why Jason Momoa is there, right? Let's be real.
He's not good at it though. I mean, seriously, Alex brought it up. I mean, he was in the Fast and the Furious movie, and I was like, this is incredibly dumb.
I was going to say his track record's about like The Rock at this point. He's somebody who can open a movie with an ensemble cast.
Yeah, but he is not
not necessarily a draw himself.
He's not a leading man. In fact, we have very few of them now.
The best movies that he's in are ones that lean on his strengths of being this ultra masculine, crazy, warrior type, like Khal Drogo. Like just recreate Khal Drogo, put him in a movie, and you've got a great Jason Momoa character. When they try to goof him up and make him like this like weird femme hilarious dude, it never works. I don't think. We got another. Go ahead. I want to get this done because it has to do with Beetlejuice before we get too far off topic. $4.99 from Destiny Captain says, "Isn't it possible that Ryder is suffering from a neurological disorder? She's been off for a few years now."
Could be. I haven't seen her in Stranger Things since like the first season, so I don't know.
And Stranger Things, I will say, like just better performance overall. And but she's still like, again, I don't think that something must have happened to her along the way because she just hasn't been that great in almost anything she's done. Stranger Things has been the best thing that she's done, but even then, it's still not perfect.
I think that's more of a credit to the Duffer Brothers than it is to Winona Ryder. Anyway, the Jason Momoa thing. I think he needs to knuckle down and become that crazy warrior type character in these movies. Find roles that like.
I'm almost sure that he's going to be Lobo.
Go like the Schwarzenegger route. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like lean into that hyper masculine. That's where your success is going to be, and that's where a lot of these actors are like. The Conan movie was not good, but Jason Momoa as that type of character, that barbarian character, I thought worked really well.
Jason Statham is basically the last actor doing what you're talking about, though. Like the whole like,
boy, it's a megalodon.
well, he knows what he's doing. He knows exactly what he's doing. He knows his movies are going to play big in all these other places, and he keeps making these Meg movies and his Crank movie, cranking out the cranks. I'm
telling you right now, Meg, what a great movie. Meg 2, fantastic movie.
I hate your culture.
But point is, he knows his audience. Dude knows his audience. He's just like doing exactly what Stallone and Schwarzenegger did in the 80s and 90s. That's you're not wrong at all. It's sad because The Rock and Jason Momoa could be those guys right now, and they're not taking advantage of that.
No, man, and look, I mean, Rock screwed himself up by getting divorced, you know, and you know, not picking. He's still trying to. He's a fence sitter because he's still doing wrestling. Dude, just do acting. Stop doing the wrestling thing. You know, reinvent yourself like you're supposed to do in life. You know, move on. One thing led you to another thing, and unless they're writing you like a $10 million check to show up at some stupid WrestleMania event,
dude, he's part owner of the big company.
I was gonna say he's part owner now. Yeah.
It's right. Well, Endeavor, right? Except that
I ain't gonna take anything away from as much shit as I give The Rock. I will give him this. He is arguably the most successful wrestler turned actor in history. If he wants to go back to doing the wrestling thing and be a big part of the WWE, especially after what went down with Vince McMahon, as far as I know, that was a big part of this too. Look, that's good for him because you and I both said this a million times, Culture. He's not a movie star.
No.
His time has passed. He's too old. It's not going to happen now. Right? He cannot open a movie by himself. Sure, people know who The Rock is because he was a TV wrestler.
But
right?
Black Adam, great example, right?
Exactly. Exactly. Oh, and that's his highest grossing film, and it's still a flop. Yeah. Like his biggest hits are like Skyscraper. What's that Earthquake one? San Andreas, and
what was the one where it's based on the game? Rampage.
Rampage did okay, but still not great.
You guys are completely forgetting about the Tooth Fairy. Okay, I mean,
that was probably one of his most profitable movies. Actually, Dutch, you're not wrong.
All right. Well, what? No, I think
it is probably one of his most profitable movies because it didn't cost jack all to make. Yeah,
it probably cost $30 to make.
But on the in the remake Walking Tall, I thought he did fine.
He did okay, but
Rundown. You guys remember Rundown? Rundown's a fun
That's
movie.
A cult classic. Now, see, that's the thing is instead of using that and running with that, he did his thing. It's whatever. His time has passed. Yeah. So we don't know who the next guys are going to be.
His time is up. His time is now. You can't see me. My time.
It's time for The Rock to start making Expendables movies. Is that what you're saying?
Well, no,
basically.
I think he should be the next lead in Scream. I think he would be a great Ghostface.
Just this jack freaking 7 foot
rock body people.
the skirt thing, the cloak.
Do you
goes
like
down to his
scary
knees.
movies? Can you smell what The Rock is cooking?
It doesn't matter if you like scary movies.
That'd be hilarious.
Gonna take this knife, turn it sideways, and stick it straight into your candy ass. Yeah.
I got a question for you. What scary movie was it where Dustin Hoffman dressed up as a woman? Tootsie, that's not a horror movie. Scared the hell out of me.
And this is why Cadis says I'm weird. Right, Mr. Cadis says I'm weird. That's one of the reasons. Right.
Again, there's nobody weirder on this show than Mr. Cadis. Okay, so
he has his quirks. Tina Guzman for $2 says Sleepy Hollow is a good Tim Burton film. Agree. Yes, I do agree with that.
It's one of his last good ones. I mean, real quick, I got this theory about directors where they always do like a movie that's like very personal to them or means a lot to them, and it doesn't do well or gets,
it wrecks them.
Critically bashed or whatever. I think that movie for Tim Burton was Mars Attacks, because if you look at his career post Mars Attacks, he only has a spattering of a few films that are any good, and the rest of them are either adaptations of stuff, reboots, remakes. I mean, we're talking like Planet of the Apes and all that kind of crap up through Alice, and he admitted that he lost his Big Fish, but it's based on a book. Right, yeah. Sleepy Hollow, another one that's an adaptation of something. But look at like his Willy Wonka movie and stuff like that, and it's like, Jesus.
I low-key love the Willy Wonka remake because it's so hilarious.
There's things, it's one of those it's so bad it's good movies.
Good morning,
yes.
starshine. The Earth says hello.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what Johnny was thinking with that one.
Johnny was thinking, dude, I took like 4 Quaaludes. Let's shoot this.
Yeah. I don't know what the hell Johnny was thinking of that one.
All right, dude.
Actually, we should blame his kids, because you know how Johnny does these things? This is the truth. He does these voices with his kids when they're playing like dolls or whatever. So then he'll develop a character that way. So if his kids ever gravitate towards a character they like, then he'll use that for one of the characters. That's where, Jack and all the other characters that he's done before have come from. I'm like, your kids were really wrong on this one. How did they not see you as creepy dad with that fucking voice and you doing that whole thing? Like, oh man, yeah. The choices were made and they were choices.
Yeah, that's Tim Burton is hit or miss for me, like real hit or miss. It's either I absolutely love it or I will not watch it. There's no middle ground for me. It's a love and hate thing with Tim Burton, and I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not the biggest fan of his.
But yeah, no,
another gifted sub real quick for Calicchio.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Yay.
Makes two for you. Thank you.
he was just basically going through the motions for the last 20 years is my point. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
All right, guys. Well, we are about 5 minutes out from closing out this show, so I'd like to thank everybody who has been in the chat. We're topping off around 175 people on this glorious Saturday. Thank you so much, guys, for hanging out with us, and we do appreciate it. We are here every Saturday. Well, I'm not, but these guys
you're
are
not
here
doing
every
it
Saturday.
right. You're not doing it right.
What?
So we had a lot to talk about today, and we talked about it.
That's right. That's what you got to say.
Oh.
So say the words. Say the words.
Say the words. It's in there.
We
It's
want
in
to
the
thank you
private
for
chat.
coming on
I
this.
know
in
he
the
gave you a
email?
script.
Hold
I
on,
know
hold
he
on.
gave you a script. Okay.
Yeah.
I got to pull the email up.
We didn't meet
from-
all of our goals today, but
We didn't talk about Green Lanterns, the Reacher
we had a lot of
spinoff.
topics and we didn't get to all of them.
Hold
But
on. Well, South Park, they're no longer doing South Park this year, but they'll be back. So that's a nothing burger. Okay, they're taking a break. Fine.
well,
No,
the
you-
funniest part of that was how they're avoiding the election. But the funnier part was the part where they talked about Paramount's issues right now. They're like, yeah, we're just going to kind of wait and see until Paramount gets their shit together. And that's almost an exact
That's exactly
quote.
what they said. I think that's verbatim, Tom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, take us home. Let's get out of here.
I also like the part where, take us home. Okay, guys, thank you guys so much. Really do appreciate it. Let me talk about our super chatters. We've got Eric Wimberg, Real Old Movies, We Too Dumb, Fluffy Panda a couple of times, Shorty Short, Def Row, Destiny Captain, Kalichioki with 2 gifted subs and a $2 super chat. Another one from Destiny Captain.
Alex
and
has
Tina.
way too much energy for this.
He does. This is
I
the
downed
part where we
like
go.
a-
Compared
down
to
a double
Kadish.
shot macchiato.
This is
Double
the
shot
part.
macchiato for the win, baby.
Look, shut up. This is the part where we go, Tom. Where can we find you? What are you doing?
I'm getting there. I'm getting there. I'm
I
getting
love this.
some
This is
love.
different.
I
Like
just
Kadish is
did
just
it.
so low key.
did
It's just like, yeah.
I'm giving us some love to people who are supporting the show. Appreciate that.
Yeah.
We did not hit our membership goal gifted thing, but that's okay because we just sat here and shot the shit for 2 hours, and anything's
do.
better than nothing.
That's right.
Dutch Butters, talk to the people about the Salty Nerd Gaming channel.
Oh, but there we go.
You're first. You're first this time.
You're throwing the thing off. You're doing it wrong. You're screwing me up. But yeah,
I'm covering. I'm not filling in. There's a difference.
So Salty Nerd Gaming. Find Alex and myself over there a lot anymore. We're doing 2 podcasts a week. We're doing Salt Divers, a show that we have dedicated solely to our love of the game Helldivers 2. The game it's got some work to do, guys, but man, we have a lot of fun playing that game, and we'd like it if you guys all came over there and played the game with us. Come join us on our Salty Nerd Discord.com. We have a really big, huge gaming community forming up over there. And our second podcast that we do comes out on Fridays around 2:00. It's called Weekend Respawn. It's about people like us, dads with kids who love to play games, and we're going to be doing game reviews and talking about stuff that's on sale, stuff that we enjoy playing that isn't Salt Divers or isn't Helldivers 2. So we're coming up. We're going to be devoting probably at least a few shows to Space Marines 2, and we're also playing games like what's that game you're playing right now?
Kingdom Come. I got it for $2 on a Steam sale,
yeah.
and I'm about to drop 800 hours into this game.
Yeah, so we're just having a lot of fun talking about video games over there. It's kind of a passion of ours. I actually like video games more than movies, so I'm having a ton of fun over there. So, and I'm
actually happy to be on a show. Go check out the gaming show.
I'm doing like 3 or 4 live gaming streams a week, playing different things, and it's a lot of fun. So yeah, that's it. Salty Nerd Gaming,
Thanks,
guys,
sir.
go check it out.
That was a fantastic pitch.
Yeah.
Also,
Right.
Jim Alaska coming in clutch
Yay!
with the 10 gifted memberships. Whoop, whoop. Thank you, sir. That is
Nice.
close. Oh, I didn't do that. Whoever did, thank you.
That was Tom.
Tom.
Tom's the man. Gotcha. All right, Culture Casino, hit me. What you got going on, buddy?
Wow, the channel's growing thanks to you. I need to grow faster though, because I have goals. I have goals, but I want to say thanks to all of you for watching what I do. Multiple videos per day, most of the time. Although today I'm not doing a video because I'm gonna sleep now when we're done here, and then maybe I won't feel like I'm having a stroke like I had all morning. But anyway. Yeah, do check that out. Do check out my channel, Culture Casino. That's me. Also check out That Game Place because, thank you, because that's what we cover games over there, like real proper games journalists, unlike the mainstream urinalists.
If we keep laughing, he's gonna keep doing it. Stop laughing.
Stop laughing. Don't laugh at Tom. But what's funny is you can watch us give you news, and then you can watch these guys play the games because they had a good. You guys
I almost did it again.
He actually you guys really had a good stream the other day, the gaming stream. I loved it. I was telling Dutch that on the chat back.
Which one are you talking about? With like the podcast or the actual gameplay?
It was the two. No, it was you guys chatting the podcast. You guys were great.
Okay.
I said that.
That was the new weekend Respawn show. I got you.
Yeah. I feel like I was Respawned during the show.
Cool.
Nice.
Yeah, but check out both channels. I would really appreciate it. And someday I'm going to interview Odin. Maybe. We'll see.
Whoa. Speaking of Odin,
man.
That's his way of guilting you to be on his show, by the way.
That's true. That's how that works.
I don't mind.
He's totally...
Who gave admin privileges to Tom? God damn it. Odin, hit me, buddy. What you got for the week?
Yeah, you can find me over at OMB Reviews on YouTube, Odyssey, Rumble, and I have my Monday night stream, 7:45 p.m. Eastern Time, to try to start that stream after the lovely ladies over at the Force of Light finish their stream. So check me out there if you want to hear about box office and movie talk. Got to talk about Beetlejuice this week and the box office for it.
Right on. And before we get to Tom Connors, I got one quick thing to say.
Why are you gay?
Who says I'm gay?
You are gay.
All right, Tom, shout out your channel. Talk to me about what you got going on.
What do I do? Oh, yeah.
Tom Connors at Midnight's Edge and Midnight's Edge After Dark. He's got news for you.
Nice. Good deal, guys. All right, folks. Thank you guys so much. And big shout out to Jim Alaska over there for those last minute gifted subs. Hope you guys had a great day. Have a great weekend. Spend some time with your family. Play some video games. Watch some movies. And we will catch you on the next Salty Saturday. And now I forgot to pull up the outro. Here
now
we
you
go.
push
Push the